We're going to try to start the broadcast and see who comes in. All right.
Hello.
Hello, Joel. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing well.
Nice to meet you
Wonderful.
face to face.
Say again?
Nice to meet you face to face.
It's nice to meet you too. This is great. I'm
Yeah,
glad
it's awesome.
glad people are coming in.
I've been
I
excited.
have no idea how to work any of the toolboxes, any of that stuff.
This is my first time, so
Fantastic. I know that Stuart said he might be in, and
yeah,
we'll get it going from there.
man,
A
you
bright light.
officially have the best background. For
Say again?
you have the best background of anyone.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
It's gotten a little out of control over the years. I mean, it's just nuts right now. I'm having a hard time seeing what's on there. Oh. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff back there. It's a little messed up.
Wow, Kilrothy, everything back there.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah, I went a little nuts. I went a little overboard. That's Prince Thrakath from Wing Commander 3.
Cool.
I hope you brought a drink.
Huh?
I hope you brought a drink.
I got a Diet Coke. That's the best, the most exotic thing I could come up with.
Fantastic. I'm going to hit it right now.
Mm. In your origin glass, no less.
Absolutely. I'm going to roll with this. Ooh, that's been in a fridge an awful long time, hasn't it? Oh, well. So what's your specialty? What do you do?
Like professionally?
No, I mean game-wise. I don't care what you do in real life. No, we'll get to that in a minute.
I've been a role-playing game head my whole life. I suspect you have too. Pretty much. My earliest game memories, well, the earliest game memories were Color Computer 3 games. That's the first computer that we really had. But the Gold Box games, the SSI Gold Box games, are really, I think, the gateway drug for me, pretty much. Which I still have. Those are some of the games that survived the move, that didn't get trashed.
No.
A lot of mine did. But I've been a kind of role player ever since. I dabbled in fighting games for a while when I was younger, but role-playing games mostly. And I find that as an adult, I have a lot less time to play them than I used to when I was a kid. So
I spend more time collecting than I do playing.
right, yeah. Like I kind of appreciate. A lot of people don't like that the modern role-playing games seem to be shorter or easier to. I mean, when you play Ultima 6, it's pretty much impossible as a first-time player to do anything without having the map and all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in modern games, you can kind of just sit down and play them for about 10 hours and get them done. I kind of appreciate that as an adult, because I just don't have time to play them like I used to.
I understand. I totally understand. Do you have kids?
No kids. We have 4 cats, but no
Almost fast.
Yeah, no children's. The cats are all asleep. I'm sure they'll wander into frame at some point.
Excellent. I'm gonna try to broadcast this. Let me see if I can.
What can you do with this thing?
To come in here.
Can you share this? Can you share your desktop and stuff like that?
You know, I'm not 100% sure. This is literally the first time I've tried this. Where are you?
Let's see. Did I go away?
No, I locked up for some reason.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Well, I got on Facebook here. I got Stuart's. Oh, Stuart says his in-laws just showed up, and
No.
but he says he does not intend to let that stop him. So I guess he's going to be here.
Aha! Well, tell him to get in here.
He's dedicated.
That's great.
And Joe are in here now. Yeah, this group.
There he is. Yes, this group.
There's Stuart.
Yep, this group.
You have a camera, Stuart? There he is.
Stuart, you are in shadow.
Stuart, you don't look anything like your profile picture.
I think he's dreamy. We have no audio, Stuart. We cannot hear you. I got him here. Yeah, I think you can share screens and things like that.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. You can, that could be a handy thing.
I want to go into my toolbox and basically set up my. There we go. Now we're talking.
Added Hangout toolbox. What is it?
Okay.
That lets you set things up.
Hey guys.
Hey there. How's it going?
Hey,
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to get set up here. 1 sec.
That light was higher.
I'm just tickled, man. Technology just is really cool.
It's
now.
terrific. I hope everybody brought a couple of items with them. I don't know if we're actually ready with the official.
I got a couple things. It was tough for me to find things that I hadn't already shared with the group, so.
I just grabbed random garbage again.
Yeah, it's like when I was a kid, being a basement computer nerd was a very solitary experience. But this is cool, man. We can like get together and see each other.
I think it's going to be cool as heck. We can share all our ideas and our thoughts and stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think of the new Kickstarters that are coming out? I mean, Ultima Underworld just basically dropped with a Kickstarter.
I would say there's like 100% chance I'm going to kickstart that thing, but it's because Stuart, me and my collector's editions, I have to get that.
Yeah.
But,
those have in the background of that case over there, or is it something else? Other stuff there.
My stuff, yeah, back there.
Woo!
In this case.
Come on, point it over. I want to see.
Check this out, though. I'll make you guys all jealous. Hang on. The old.
The ceiling. Whoa!
That's a wall of.
Oh! We should Joe for some reason.
You're a Warcraft guy?
We've been playing since launch.
Fantastic.
Before launch, actually, I had a week in alpha, and then I betaed a little bit, but I'm not into betas really because I don't like to wreck it. Like Shroud of the Avatar, I'm not playing because I don't want to wreck it, for myself.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, and I don't. And I've dabbled in it for like an hour, and it's not a great experience, so I don't want to really taint it that much. But I have back on the
masks on the shelf there.
I do have several Kickstarters I've already done that I have not been delivered, so that's another thing that's keeping me from just going willy-nilly on Kickstarters, because I've dropped a lot of money and just haven't gotten anything for them yet.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you gotta wait. You gotta wait like a year or two for some game.
Yeah. Of all of them I've done, I'd say the two most likely to get delivered are Shroud of the Avatar, because we all know Richard's going to produce a game, and that Torment, Shrouds of that Numenera Torment game, those guys will deliver for sure. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
So I turned off my thing so you can see at least. I got a T-shirt from Broken Sword, so I got something. I got the game too. So about like I think a third of the stuff I've backed have delivered.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of stuff I haven't. It's like funny because I don't know. I think I told Joe like I'm moving. I know I told Joe I'm moving, but I'm moving and trying to like cut down my purchases of games. But there's a lot of stuff coming in that I ordered like a long time ago. Like actually some Kickstarters first of all, and second of all, like I ordered a game from a Russian website like maybe 4 months ago, and it finally came in the mail like yesterday. It was a jewel case. It came in a giant big box. So it looked like it was like I got a huge stack of like God knows what, and it was like, no, I'm telling you, I ordered this like 4 months ago. I didn't just buy it yesterday. I promise. Look, it's all in Russian. Look at all the Russian Cyrillic letters, but it doesn't always work.
No, I got that a long time ago. I understand.
I did.
Hey, how did you, Joe? How did you get your name up there with your picture and everything? Does it do that on me whenever I'm up?
You go to
have
the
it here.
Hangout toolbox,
Oh, okay, here we go.
and then go to the far left with that face with the circle around it, the silhouette with the circle,
Gotcha.
and you write some cool stuff under there.
Do you see mine now?
Yeah, I see Stewart's now. PC Game Collector.
Okay. What do you want me to write? It's like,
I don't know. Supreme Omnipotent. I told you last time.
Let's see if I have a picture of myself.
Yeah, I think you got to put a picture up in the chat and all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll just skip it.
Choose logo.
Let's see, Game Collector. There we go.
Well, this is cool. I like the idea of just hanging out and getting used to it. I was very worried that I was being
Oh, that's one.
we got somebody else.
hey, how are you? I was feeling like I was obligated to put on a true 100% show. Bastian, how are you, sir? Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Where are you from, Bastian?
Slovenia.
Ah, cool.
That is very cool.
What time is it over there right now?
7 p.m.
Okay, not too bad.
Thank you, Stuart, for selecting the time properly. Good. So we can get Europe, we can get America, and that's about it, I think. I think Australia is a little too late, maybe. I don't know.
Originally, I said 5 p.m. or 3 p.m. or something, because I was figuring like we could try to get those guys in. It would be later for Europe, obviously. So I don't know.
I think it works out well. I think it's doing real good. But
It's
Bastian,
fine.
like I said, this is just a test that I didn't feel as though I was obligated to put on a professional show just yet. We're going to see how it goes and roll with this and hopefully show off some of our treasures and talk about some of the games that we loved when we were kids and that we still love today.
Sure. That sounds good.
What do we got? I'm just going to start showing off if nobody minds.
Go ahead.
I love it when you show off.
A lot of people don't know that. I collect the Origin stuff, but a lot of people don't recognize this title. It's called Mobius. I don't know if anybody...
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I have like a Smash box for it somewhere.
It was a martial arts type fighting game and an adventure.
Is that the one that came with the headband, or is that?
This came with a headband. It actually
Right, okay.
had the yin yang headband that came in every box, which was pretty cool, which is typical of Origin stuff. But what a lot of people don't realize is that there were completion certificates for Ultimas, and what nobody seems to know is that there is a completion certificate for the Mobius game, and I believe that I have probably the only one that's ever been made, with the whole thing, and it says, be it known to all present that so-and-so, through discipline and perseverance, has recovered the orb of celestial harmony. So,
Was it made just for you, or you got it from somewhere else?
no, this came from a donation from one of the people that used to work at Origin, and it was just phenomenal. These were given out. If you completed the game, it basically said, write into the game company and tell us about your accomplishments. And this is probably about 1988, 1989.
So do you know that guy, Greg Malone? Have you ever encountered him?
Never met him.
I've seen the name on the box.
Never met the man.
never heard of him. Okay.
I toyed with the idea of looking him up on Facebook, but I don't know. But just weird stuff. I mean, like I said, the whole room is filled with just ridiculous stuff.
That's amazing.
Funny, with those completion certificates, every time I've ever seen Lord British talk in public, there's always been one guy who has announced his completion of one of the Ultimate games, Game in Person.
That's cool as heck.
Yeah. I
But,
don't think I've ever beaten. I don't think I've ever beaten one. Every time I play one, I always end up running around doing other stuff and not even really,
Me too. The sad part is that I've beaten very few Ultimas.
Yeah.
I beat 2 of them. I beat 3 and 5.
5 is supposed to be one of the best ones.
I beat
5?
5, 6, both the Underworlds, 9, and that's about it.
Man, you should get a medal for beating Ultimate Underworld 2. That's one of the hardest games ever made.
God, I love that game.
That's an
Man,
awesome
I love that game.
The music in that game just takes me back. Like, there's something about the music in that game that just gets me. Like, I can't put my finger on it.
Some of the newer games that are coming out on Kickstarter are doing full orchestration of some of their old music, and I believe ultimately didn't they do that as an extra?
Ultimate 9 and the Dragon Edition has a soundtrack. Yep.
Right. There
Also,
is a
the
full
Origin
soundtrack. That's only a
soundtrack.
partial soundtrack in the Dragon Edition. There
Yeah.
actually is a full soundtrack that's out there that you could buy. What was funny is that they were really hard to find for a while, and then all of a sudden they all showed up for $1 a piece on like Yahoo.
Oh, where do you get them?
I think I picked up 5 or 6 of them just because.
I'm gonna have to search that out. I didn't realize.
Is that the one they call the Origin soundtrack, Joe, or is it something else?
No, that's something else. This was the Ultimate 9 soundtrack. Oh my gosh, the Origin audio CDs.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Those used to be hard to find. The first one, the number one, was incredibly difficult to find. And then again, just like the other story, somebody found a whole box up full of them, so they went on eBay for nothing.
Yeah, that's what always happens. They'll find a box in a warehouse somewhere, and then that drives the price down.
I thought I had a treasure. But so, Bastian, what do you collect? What is your specialty?
I collect more adventure games and simulations, flight simulators, and that
Flight
kind of
simulations.
stuff. Yes.
Oh, cool.
I have a bunch of them.
The Janes series.
Yeah, I have from the ocean. I have the James Longbow. I have the F-22 Lightning.
Put your camera to what you're looking at.
Yes. Yeah, I have a bunch of them. My
Sure.
collection is not that big as yours, but I'm getting there.
Oh, mine's just nuts.
Pascal just posted he's trying to get in.
There should be no problem with getting in at this time. He's probably got to set up an account.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
he's like the second or third person that I invited to the group.
Uh-oh.
Been in forever.
How'd you know him?
When I was trying to build it in the first place, where I found most of you guys was I went into that Sierra group and advertised it, and that's where most people came from. But in the beginning, and then it just grew from there.
There used to be there still is an email list called the Software Collectors email list, but like it's pretty much dead nowadays. But there's a lot of people there. Like Joe and I know each other from that, and there were a number of people in the group that were on that, like Commander Falcon. A lot of people that are in the group now are in that Software Collectors list. But like I said, it pretty much died. But we know each other, so I think I saw somebody else was there, and I joined because I saw they had just joined. I'm like, hey, what's this? And I asked to join, and I think I invited you, Joe, because I knew like, hey, this is something you're interested in.
That was years and years ago. That was probably.
No. I'm not talking about SW Collect. I'm talking about the Facebook group. I saw.
Oh, I see. Yes.
I heard about this. I heard about Joel's group because somebody else from SW Collect had joined it, who I was friends with on Facebook. I don't know if it was Pedro or somebody else. I forget.
I need
And
to
then-
look this up. SW Collect. I never knew that even existed.
Well, now it's just archived.
Yeah, it's pretty much dead at this
I
point.
got the group going, so I didn't even know that there was even any kind of organization to the whole thing.
Yeah, there was like I said, SW like Stuart was saying, SW Collect was a group that was founded probably about 2001, 2002. Is that correct, Stuart?
Something like that.
Years and years ago. Its big popularity was probably about 03, 04, 05.
Well, Jim Leonard is the guy that started it, right?
Yeah, he was the guy that started Moby Games, in fact.
Right.
I got a lot of traction in the group early on because I was before I started it, I was good friends with Rob Landeros from Trilobite.
Cool.
And Peter Oliphant from he did Stonekeep. You probably have heard of him. I got them in the group early, and then they invited some people, and yeah, it took kind of a marketing effort to get it off the ground. Like I had to really advertise it and stuff because I kind of didn't want it to. I wanted it to become something because there's so many groups out there for like the Nintendo stuff. I'm like, what, why is this not happening yet? So I just kind of jumped on it, tried to make it happen.
Good
And
move.
how many people do you have in the group right now? So,
400.
408.
wow.
It's growing exponentially. Like every 100 it grows exponentially faster.
So I didn't know there were 400 of us out there, actually.
From 300 to 400 was like the blink of an eye. Super.
I'm absolutely shocked.
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I was posting pictures to myself in the beginning because I wanted people to see that there was something in there, because if you have this empty group, no one wants to join it. So I was just posting pictures to myself, and man, that's a lonely feeling.
How long ago was that, Joel?
Not too long ago.
Last year? Stuart, you've been around since the beginning too, kind of.
Almost. I think I joined when it was like 3 months in.
Yeah.
And when I joined, like, I was like, hey, you guys should just post like random pictures. You're like, yeah. Like, okay. So I started doing that.
I think that's cool as heck. I think it's great. Boston, what is the one game that you have that you prize more than all others?
I think it's the Wing Commander 3. It's my first PC original game I bought.
Let's see it. Show it to us.
Just a moment.
Wing Commander 3, man, that was one of those games. Like I had to back a computer upgrade for it. I think everybody did. It
My
was-
absolute positive favorite game of all
yeah,
time.
just blew it away. There it is.
Very nice.
Blow you
Very,
up.
very nice.
Price tag
Wow.
$9,900 dollars. It's about now I think €50.
Wait, 9,999. What kind of dollars?
Dollars, Slovenian dollars.
Dollars? Oh, okay.
$1 million.
Yeah, we got that currency back in the 90s.
Gotcha.
I got crazy, Boston, for Wing Commander 3. That's probably my all-time favorite game of any game I have ever played in my life.
It's funny.
As you can probably see, there's more than enough nonsense back there. They say in Wing Commander 3, at the end of Wing Commander 3, you kill Prince Thrakath in the ship.
Yes, of course, and I the second ending was a different ending. If you lose,
Correct. If you lose, the Kilrathi end up taking over
yeah,
Earth.
you have three endings. If you lose, he kills you with a claw, and I think the second ending, the losing, is something different. I don't remember, but
Either you die and they take over Earth,
yes, of course.
you destroy Kilra, the Kilrathi homeworld,
Yeah,
or
with the special weapon and this cloaked ship.
yeah, and then you're right. There was a third ending where it was boring. You just
Yeah,
walk away.
you have two answers. I think it was two answers if you die honorably or something like that.
right, but many people say that they won Wing Commander 3. I'm the only one that can say I won Wing. I killed Prince Thrakath, and I have his head. I proved it. Show everybody. But what you
Good one.
can't see, it's probably over there in the dark. This is really sad. This is a very sad moment for me. Over here, if you can probably see in the corner, that is Hobbs
Mm-hmm.
from Wing Commander 3. He is in very bad shape. He's very dry, and pieces are falling off of him.
Yeah.
The foam rubber gets very, very hot. There's his feet down there as well.
We didn't really make those things the last time.
Correct. They made them for Hollywood. My dream is to have it restored. And the last estimate that I had was $10,000.
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Well, I was thinking about doing SaveHobbs.com because I have his head, I have his hands, I have his feet, I have his uniform, and there is a friend of mine who says he's going to get me his helmet. He does have his helmet. So I want to do a whole mannequin with him holding his helmet from there. But they want $10,000, and I just don't have the money.
Yeah.
There was the guy
that's
that did a
a lot.
Kickstarter like last year. He'll make egg salad, and he made like $1 million. I'm exaggerating. He made some huge amount of money to make egg salad.
To make egg salad?
Yeah, and he said like I'll send you if you send $4, I'll send you a spoonful of egg salad. And there was like a disclaimer like, must figure out how to send egg salad in the mail. And I actually send the egg salad. So you made a lot of money. Happy.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But
You guys can hear me okay, or like am I cutting out while I'm talking?
your
getting laggy.
your vocal stopped a little bit, but it seems okay now.
Okay.
Dave,
But I'm trying very hard to find out if anybody else is trying to come in.
Someone just did join.
They did.
Dave. He's on mute though.
Dave, are you with us, sir? I don't know. I guess he wishes to remain
No,
anonymous.
he's probably trying to figure it out.
I hear you.
Turn it on. It's like hard to figure it out.
But I think
Can you
Neil
see me?
Graham is going to come in. Or I'm sorry, no.
We can see you typing, but we can't see your face.
Oh, cool.
Or hear you. I have no cam. Okay, well that explains it.
Ah. Well, with no audio. Okay. Well, it's wonderful to meet you, Dave. How are you? Oh, it's Dave Modersky. Good. Wonderful.
But can you see me? Well, we said yes. Yeah, we have the spy cam outside.
Send in the drones. Well, wonderful. This is really, really cool.
Well, let's see. I
Dave,
brought a
welcome.
little ditties here to show that I don't think I've shown on the group yet. One is probably one of the most rare things that I have. Is a Diablo 2 expansion set soundtrack CD that you can only get in the pre-order box. That I don't see these things anywhere. There's people that offer to buy them for just a ton of money.
How much?
I saw an offer for one that was like about $1,000, but I don't know if that
Holy
was.
cow.
I don't know if that was just hooey. You know, you never know. But there's none of these on eBay, so I have no idea what the actual value would be. And then I've got my. This is actually kind of fun. It's out of the beholder. Everyone's got it. But the reason I brought this was this is my old copy from when I was a kid, and I have still all of my maps.
Awesome.
Is really cool because back in the olden days, as we all know, this is how you had to progress in the game. And I've got one for every level in here on on the old graph paper. So I'll never get rid of this. This is just too cool.
That's
Hey,
right.
What are the games that you mapped out so diligently?
Yeah, and these maps are perfect too. I mean,
Which games are we talking about that you mapped out?
I did. I've got a map in there of King's Quest V as well. because, as we all know, the desert area, when I was a kid, was driving me nuts. And I've got a little 2 map down there, but
And how old is that map, if you don't mind me asking?
the King's Quest one. Yeah, let me get it for you. Hang on just a second.
You should say that stuff because my dad used to do maps also. He used to play a lot of RPGs and a lot of adventure games. He was more into RPGs, so we did all the graph paper maps for things like Ultima, Pool of Radiance, and whatnot. Yeah, Joe's your echo, I guess, Joe. And it was all cool, but when he did the map for Zork 2, this was before Infocom put out their VisiClues that came with the maps. He drew a map that was so beautiful. It wasn't just like little boxes connected by lines. It was like you see the waterfall, and you see the volcano, and he drew it all like as if it was a real map. And I wish I still had that because when they did put out the VisiClues, they tried to do something similar, but my dad was like way nicer. He like put a lot more effort into it. I wish I still had it today, but unfortunately, for the time we probably thought like, it's not worth anything. It's some homegrown garbage, and we threw it out.
I have 10,000 discs for King's Quest V. This is my original King's Quest V when I was littler than I am now. And I had bought the EGA copy, and unbeknownst to me, it was the EGA copy. I didn't read it before I got it. I have this pile of EGA discs, and then there was a send-away for the VGA version, and I got those too. But got 5 1/4-inch discs for the VGA version for some reason. Anyway, here's the King's Quest map. Let's see. Looks like it goes around to the back too, but.
What year are we talking here?
What year did this thing come out, Stuart?
1990 about. I think the disc version around 1990. Maybe the CD was maybe 1991.
Yeah,
Well, I'm curious to find out when Joel made these maps.
It would have been when I was a freshman in high school, because I graduated from high school in '96. So.
92.
Yep.
That's when I played King's Quest V. Also, I got a computer in '92, and it had King's Quest V like as a bundle, a pack-in. That's when I got it, like end of '92. Oh, mid '92.
I have the CD version in there too. Just stuck it in there.
That's what I had.
Joel, those maps are 20 years old, 22 years old, 23 years old?
Yeah.
Could you show it again? Because when you put it to the camera, it wasn't in focus. You couldn't see anything except for the paper.
Let's see. Yeah, I got this for Christmas that year, and I was playing it on a Tandy 1000 SX, 8 megahertz. Had a VGA card. All the Super Nintendo geeks were like talking about how good their graphics were, and I was like, take a look at this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't know what part I'm looking at. I can't see it, but
I can't see it either. Really, it's on focus enough, but at least I can see like the gist of it.
Holy Christ!
It's pretty cool. You can play it and beat it with this too. I don't know. It really takes me back looking at this stuff. I guess that's why we all do this. I guess is because of nostalgia. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So Joe, you asked before, like, the favorite possessions. I mean, like, I have 2 different categories of it. One is stuff that I acquired and really like it for whatever reason, and there's stuff that I actually still have from when I was a kid. And there's only a couple of those because we used to have. When I was a kid, we started off with a TRS-80 Model 1, and my dad was really a computer geek, so to speak. He was a doctor. Like it was like a hobby for him. He's a hobbyist. So we got a TRS-80 Model 1 in like '77 when they came out, and then he moved to a Model 3 and a Model 4. And when he was moving to the new models, he basically gave me his hand-me-downs. So I got computers when I was very young. And I eventually went to an Atari 800 XL, and then a Commodore 128, and then from there I got my first PC. But so when my parents moved, when I was like 16, my parents moved, and there was tons and tons of stuff. There was all these TRS-80 tapes, tons and tons and tons of them. And my dad was like, "What should we do with this stuff?" And I was like, "Just throw it out." He's like, "Don't you think it'll maybe be worth something one day?" I was like, "No, it's like, who's want TRS-80 tapes? Like garbage, like we can't use them now, just throw them out." He kept all those stupid journals of American medicine. He still has all that crap, but he threw out all the TRS-80 tapes, And the only stuff that I saved was a couple of things that I just like, okay, I'm going to save this one thing or whatnot. And so those things that I still have today that survived like 5 or 6 moves, obviously those mean a lot to me. But they're few and far between, unfortunately.
Are there any incredibly valuable TRS-80 tapes or discs?
Zork.
Yeah, well, so Zork, he never had the original like Barbarian version, I don't think. I don't remember seeing it. He had a Starcross Saucer. Unfortunately, I don't have that anymore. That's one of the few. That's the only Infocom title that I don't still have. I had it at one point, and it was theoretically, my dad claims it was stolen by the movers because we like put it in a box, it didn't come out the other end, and we never saw it again. And
damn those game collecting movers!
I don't know what else could happen to it. That's what he claims, and I never wanted to shell out like $500 to buy it again after that because it's been worth a lot of money since I got seriously into collecting. That's probably worth like $1,000.
I heard when he was very, very young that C.E. Foreman was a mover.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Don't know, C.E. Foreman is a very, very famous game collector of Infocom games.
Yeah.
Inside joke.
But yeah, there are some TRS-80 games that are worth a lot of money, but I mean, to tell you the truth, the games that we had, like I don't think people even know about them. It's like a shame for preservation, to be honest, because most of them you don't even see anything about them on the web if you do a search. There's no images of them. Like I could talk about some of them that it's like they never existed. So they can't be worth anything because no one even knows they existed, and nobody can get them if they did. So
were they all interactive fiction? No.
Some of the ones that I played the most that I enjoyed were, but they had a lot of other what I would call crap. I mean, some of those you can still find today. Like I mean, there were simple games. Some of them, like they had a game called The Dancing Demon. I remember very clearly.
I remember that incredibly clearly.
Yeah, and it was just garbage.
I worked at a Radio Shack for a year.
Just some stupid like animation on the screen.
Right, it was this horrible program, but you could control the movements of this little character.
Right.
Oh, hey,
and he would do these disco dances if you pushed the proper keys.
So that's still out there, but some of the games, like I can't remember what they're called anymore. Like if I try to search for them, unfortunately, I mean some I remember, some I don't. So if somebody else just joined it,
whenever I was
Pascal.
Hey guys.
Oh, it's Pascal.
Hi there.
I'm glad you can make it.
Are you actually wearing a Commander Keen T-shirt?
Yes, yeah. Nice, you may recognize that. Yeah, that's true.
Where'd you get that very cool.
Actually, that is not an original one. There's a funny story behind that one. I don't know the brand, but the guy who developed it or designed it, he worked for a company designing the T-shirt, and the guys do not know what Commander Keen is. So he is a huge fan of Commander Keen, designing that kind of T-shirt, sold it under the brand, and the company didn't even recognize that it has something to do with the computer game or so.
Unbelievable. Well, we're just in here chatting, talking about things. I think you know just about everybody. Dave does not have video right now, or audio, but he's participating via group chat, which is very good.
Yeah.
But,
there's a group. I never used Hangouts before, so there is a group chat. Where do I find that one?
The chat is basically the top control on the upper right, or upper left, excuse me.
On the upper left, yeah.
So you can see the chat in the right-hand side if you click on that.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I can see and hear you guys, but I don't have a camera mic of my own. So.
Where'd it go?
Yeah, and everybody's posting today. Hi, Dave. Right.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab just a couple things to show. Unfortunately,
Fantastic.
the reason why, I'll explain to everybody else here, the reason why I post random game posts is because I moved a year ago, and most of my stuff is still in boxes because I'm moving again in a month. I knew I was going to move again, so I didn't want to unpack like all my stuff. So most of my games are not accessible. They're in boxes that have other boxes on top of them. So if you ask me to take out like my prized possession, I probably can't find it, but at least I'll get a couple things for show and tell.
Okay, and in the meantime, Pascal, would you like to show off a thing or two? maybe your prized possession. What's the rarest game that you have?
The rare? Oh, that is a hard question. I do not know. What is the rarest? I mean, there are a couple ones. I guess they are pretty rare, but to be honest, I'm not sure which is the rarest or so. I mean, what I got when you asked to bring at least 2 items, and as you guys know, I'm a huge Sierra fan, so what I bring is the IBM release of King's Quest, the first King's Quest. This is actually the 83 release. We know it was released in 84, but they started with the box a bit earlier, I guess. And what is pretty about that one, why I really, really like it, is it has this huge keyboard layout coming with the game. So if you have a keyboard where it fits on, actually I do not have a keyboard where it fits on my keyboard for my old system, that is too big for that one. So I'm still looking for a keyboard which fits this overlay on.
So let me tell you, Pascal, quickly. First of all, that's only the second copy of that, second of those I've ever seen. Another one I have. So they're not very common. That's number one. Because everybody that has that PC Junior King's Quest, they have the later release with the little cheapo blue overlay on top.
Right.
Just for FYI, the keyboard that it fits is a PC Junior keyboard, and I used to have one, and I put it right on top, and it fit perfectly. But that's one of the things I had to get rid of, unfortunately, the last time I moved.
Okay.
And one of the things that I think is funny is that the PC Junior keyboard is very rare in the fact that it glows in the dark. It was an IR keyboard, and actually it was wireless, but it didn't work very well, so it didn't go over very well. But in 1982, to have a wireless keyboard was a big deal.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. I definitely guess so.
But that's incredibly rare. Unbelievable.
So I got the 84 edition that you mentioned
right.
Here
that's
as well. That is the poor one. That is the overlay where you just put on the top of the keyboard. It has just some small information like what is it, sound on, off, save game, restore game, and stuff. But that came with the later release. Yeah.
I don't think most people even realize that there's two. I mean, you know, there's an 83 and 84. I don't think most people know that there's 2 different overlays.
I did not know that there were 2 different versions.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many interesting or funny things about that release. I think what I read is that they finished the design of the box earlier before even they started developing the game. So the cover has nothing to do with the final game at all. There is no knight in the game on a horse with all his shiny metal thing and stuff. So that is funny. And then other details like the name of Sir Graham is written different than in any other later King's Quest release, and so there's some nice details on that one. Which I
imagine
really
looks like it's in really good condition.
And yeah, the pictures are really fun. The colored pictures are really so beautiful. Honestly.
What's that sticker on the front cover? Not for sale.
Not for sale. Yeah, maybe that was a promotion item. I don't know. It only
promotional copy, educational copy, I think is what it says.
Demonstrational or educational, yeah.
It may have went to a school at one time.
Could be. I don't know. It's not on the box or elsewhere. It's just on the manual. I don't know.
That is an incredibly rare find. What a treasure that is. That's incredibly cool.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. It's pretty cool.
Thanks for that. Yeah, King's Quest.
Yeah, it's wonderful to finally meet you, Pascal. Pascal is a collector for many years. I have seen Pascal's name for at least a decade now in collecting. I am completely confident that the image that you see behind him is only one very, very small part of his unbelievable collection. I have other collectors telling me about your unbelievable prowess, Pascal.
I thought you were saying years or something.
No, I was speaking to Enrico Ricciardi this morning, and he mentioned you again.
Okay, thanks for that.
You are famous among famous collectors, is what I'm saying.
I'm flattered.
I was actually going to mention his name before he joined because what I was going to say is that, Joe, your collection is a lot different than I think a lot of the other folks here because you have so many sort of one-of-a-kind unique items, whereas, like, I, for example, just collect, like, games, and I have a couple things that are signed 'cause I happen to meet so and so or whatnot, but I don't go out of my way to do that. You have like really unique stuff, but I think Pascal actually, or Pascal, his stuff is pretty similar in the sense that he goes out of his way to get things signed and to meet this guy and that guy, and I think you probably have a lot of also unique stuff based on what I've seen. It's pretty cool. I think we got a couple other people to join. Looks like Clint Eastwood joined. Jake is also muted.
Jake, can you introduce yourself? Do you have a camera or Jake Fusaka? Are you able to introduce yourself, or will you join Dory via text?
I still didn't get anything. I started to head out to the room to get some games, and then like I heard Pascal talk about King's Quest, and I came back. I got distracted, so I'm gonna go now.
In the meantime, Joel, are you? Yes, you are in your house.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Show us another one of your objects de desire.
Let's see. See what I come up with here. I'll grab something from up here. I kind of have mastered the pile method of collecting stuff, so some of the stuff's hard to get out.
Me too.
Something I haven't shared is the Star Wars Galaxies Collector's Edition. Big MMO fan. I was not a big fan of this game, unfortunately. I am a big Star Wars fan, as you probably guessed. The box and the stuff is way cooler than the game itself. And I have this odd habit of, you know those things they stick on the back of the boxes, like a piece of paper that has shelf stuff in them?
Yeah.
I save these things for some reason. I don't know why.
Excellent. That's really good.
I always stick them in the box. But this thing came with some cool stuff. It's always sad to see the game go. But I also save little knickknacks that come like PC Gamer, put a CD in, I'll stick that in the box. Just little weird stuff to hang on to.
Very cool. See, that is the stuff that I believe is going to end up being rare, because it's always the things that people throw away that become those little jewels.
Stuff that, yeah, like I've got a EverQuest 2 collection edition back there, and Sony used to do mail-outs. They would mail out advertising for things, and I kept all that stuff too, postcards and letters and just all kinds of crazy stuff. Grab that if I can find it. I'm not sure where it's at right now.
It's really funny that we're getting everybody to run around the room and go find things.
Yeah, I just... I'll dig it up sometime.
Pascal, how many titles do you believe that you have?
I have no idea.
Over 1,000?
I stopped counting a long time ago. Actually, right now we trying to find a bigger place. We want to move. It's not only because of my collection, but that is part of the reason, because I really want to have a place where I can have everything on the shelf and stuff. And maybe I definitely then will start counting again if we move and I see. I have like, I don't know, 800 plus. I'm not sure.
Unbelievable. He says so modestly, as there's a triangle Day of the Tentacle box behind him.
Yeah, there. Exactly.
But this is terrific. I mean, I'm very happy that people are coming in. Jake says he used to have a really, really big collection, and he has a link there. He's showing some of his stuff. Oh, he's got a Maniac Mansion poster. My gosh. How many copies of the original Doom do you need, Jake?
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing
He's
this.
showing a link. There's like 3 copies there. Holy cripes.
Yeah, you can never have...
Oh, that Indiana Jones poster is just driving me nuts. That's beautiful.
Oh, he's got the action figures, too. Those Quake 2 action figures up there.
Yeah.
I'm a big toy collector. Mostly Star Wars, but I have all the World of Warcraft figures and everything Blizzard put out. Yep, there you go.
I posted that one earlier. I'm so proud of that original Doom because that is the only game in my collection I still have that I bought back then. I bought that together with my older brother, and that is my game since then. I had to sold all the other games back then because I need money for buying new games and stuff. But that one, I never could get let off that one. I still have it, and I will never sell that one.
It is in beautiful shape. It's gorgeous. It's in better shape than mine is, for sure.
Yeah, that is actually pretty nice. That is one of my treasures.
Fantastic. I love seeing this stuff. I get so into it.
It's interesting you put them in plastic bags. I'm wondering if that's something I should start doing.
I haven't done it for all games, just for a few.
Huh.
I was thinking about putting all in bags, but I'm not sure about that.
I was thinking about doing that with my Ultima 7 because Ultima 7 is like, for some reason, is predisposed to the print rubbing off the front of that black box for some reason.
Correct. There's a technical term for that, but I forget what it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Blemishes?
Yeah. But my particular copy is in pretty good shape. I'd like it to stay that way.
Well, what's funny is that you talked about the extra sheet that came on the back of the box.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned earlier, Joel.
Yeah.
Ultima 7 actually had one of those sheets for the back of the box.
I didn't know that.
There was a preview from, I believe, PC Gamer that was on the back of the box that they just stuck on there.
I saw one of those on eBay when I was hunting it down. I didn't know what that was. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's
an ad on here.
Incredibly hard to find.
Cool. I probably should have bought it. Oh well, I didn't.
All right, so I came back with some random stuff. Just literally pull out of boxes, but having some good stuff too.
And I'm going to grab a beer. Give me a second.
Should I wait for you? No, I won't wait for him. All right, so this is just random. So first of all, this is a game it's like a text adventure with graphics that it's pretty obscure. Demoniac. Have you seen this one? I don't know if people have seen this before, but I just picked up on eBay. I actually had a copy before that was not sealed and it was a little beat up and I think it was missing something. So I saw it on eBay recently for like $30 sealed, so just picked it up. That's just number one.
What year is that?
That's a good question. It is 1991. So it came on discs, 3.5-inch discs. Pascal is like searching for his copy, I think. He's like, oh, that's his dog. I have a rule that I've set up for myself for the random game stuff that I don't post anything unless I won't, like if I have number 4 of the series, I won't post it. I have to go 1, 2, 3 first. So that's why I never posted this guy yet, which I picked up recently on eBay. Pretty cheap. So this is Joel's World, I guess. Typically, can you see it, or is it?
Yeah.
It's
cool.
Fallout New Vegas Collectors. I mean, I just like this because it has a lot of cool stuff in it. You know, so I'm trying to acquire more of these type of things. But I happened to get lucky with this. It wasn't like shrink wrapped or anything, but I think it was like $50 or something like that. So I thought it was a good deal for completing the box and whatnot.
Yeah. I have it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead. You're doing your
I got like 3 more. This is an older title, which I got recently from eBay, new. Try to point it so you can see it better. The reason why I didn't want to post it is because this is also a sequel, but this is from 1984. It's sort of like a detective mystery adventure type title, but it's not a pure adventure. It's like an adventure / puzzle, maybe. It's not really puzzle. Like, it's hard to categorize, to tell you the truth. That's why I didn't have it before. Hold on one second. My wife is like, give me pizza, but she's like,
nothing wrong with that.
thank you.
No, wait a second. I don't see that app over on the side of Google Plus. Is there a pizza button?
Yeah, where's my pizza? I want pizza.
All right, number 4. I'll get this game more interesting here now. So this is one of my favorite games, Karateka. Pascal left.
Game.
Right.
I played the heck
This
out of
is one of my favorite
Funny,
games.
I always called it Karateka.
I did too.
I'm not sure what it's actually called, but it's I don't know. My dad used to call it Karateka. I used to go, "This is the way of the Karateka." So anyway, I was lucky enough to get the disc of this guy signed by Jordan Mechner when I met him one time, which was really nice and cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Jordan Mechner doesn't really swing with the PC crowd much. He kind of fancies himself a movie maker, doesn't he?
He does. Also, I think if he, I think this disc here, he signed me with his IBM, but I think he much prefers the Apple version. So nice to get to do that. Now I got one more thing. This is actually really rare, so this is cool. This is the game Myth by Night Scrolls, which was only a send-away item, and it's very hard to find in general, but this one is also the IBM PC version. So this is like computer game porn right here.
Cool.
So I'm glad I happened to put this out, but this is like a real rare one that I got through a friend of mine who hooked me up, and I was looking for it for a long time, and quite happy that I have it because I've never seen another one since. Frankly, I don't know. It's very hard to get because you have to be a member of this club in England and send away for. I guess you got it for free if you joined this club, Official Secrets. But most of the people there who were gamers, they had Atari STs or Amigas. They weren't playing on IBM PC, so generally the copies that are out there are not for IBM PC. So it has someone else's name on it, but what can you do?
What else? What year is that as well?
I think around the same, around 1990, I'm guessing. Let's see if I can say on the thing here.
Moby Game says 89.
89. All right, close enough.
And
That's why I pulled it out.
Have you seen that on eBay at all?
I've never ever seen an IBM version on eBay. I've seen other ones, other formats. They tend to go for like $200-300, but I've never seen an IBM PC one. I mean, but maybe I missed it. It doesn't look like every single day or anything like that, but they're definitely not very common.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
I never heard of that one before, to be honest. And
okay.
Moby Game has a nice driver where it said each disc was personalized with the owner's name and official secret membership number.
That's true. Yeah, so you can see this one here. This is Judy something or other. She was the original owner. So, when I said Stuart Feldhammer on it, but you can't have everything. So I didn't live in England 20 years ago or 25 years ago, but still pretty cool.
So cool.
That is cool, definitely.
I'm like flipping out. See, I love seeing this kind of stuff. This is fantastic. I stuck myself in this tiny little niche, and I didn't experience many of these other titles. I tell Stuart all the time, I love seeing the stuff that you post every day to the forums because these are things that I just completely missed. My world stopped in 2004 when Origin closed. I have nothing else, so I didn't follow anything else. So, Stuart, you showing these games from 2000 on, everything is brand new to me.
I have learned a lot. I'll make an admission right now that I had no idea what Slash even was before the group came around. Boy, that was useful information.
You're lucky.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
But because
I have many conversations about Slash back in 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
No. Oh, sorry, guys. Continue.
No, I'm done.
Joe, what is it with you in Origin? Why Origin? Have you been involved somehow personally, or what is it?
I was not
involved behind it. I mean, you live Origin. You're living in Origin. That is all Origin around you. So
everybody has obsessions. Like I said, I wasn't affiliated with the company at all. I just loved their games, and I followed them from probably about 85, about Ultima 5 on. And I'd always look at them, and I was playing games through the whole thing and collecting them and going through. And, I had a Commodore 64, and I was getting all of those games. And literally around 1995, I looked at my collection and went, okay, after I'm done playing, I just put it on a shelf. And I would go to this brand new place called IKEA, and buy these white cheap shelves, you know,
Right.
and put them together, and that's where my games went. But I started looking over at my shelves and going, well, most of the games that I had were all from this same company. Maybe I should go back and try to find some of the old ones and see what was going on. Now, there was no eBay back then, so I was going to yard sales, or as they say in England, car boot sales,
Right.
and looking for different types of these games and talking to my friends and making trades to try to get this stuff. And it just got a little out of control now. I mean, it's just nuts. But I started talking with other people, and the long story is that my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, when you're new in a relationship, there's that wish fulfillment stage where I want to do anything for you. So my birthday was coming up, and all I could talk about was these stupid games. Well, she was listening. Who knew? You know?
Oh, dear.
So she wrote handwritten letters to Warren Spector and Richard Garriott and Chris Roberts and, you know, George the Fat Man Sanger and Dennis Lubay, and wrote all these letters and saying, I'm getting my boyfriend a trip for his birthday. We're coming to Austin, Texas. Would you have time to maybe shake his hand and give him an autograph?
Wow.
And these people invited us into their homes. And I had just started getting into preserving these games and going, okay, I have to get the complete box, I have to do this, you have to catalog it, you have to go through all this stuff. So I was talking about how important preserving these games are to all these people. And I guess I was passionate enough. They invited us into their homes. I mean, Garriott basically went, come on in the house.
Wow.
You know, Dennis Lubay had lunch with us. George Sanger sat us in his living room. You know, Warren Spector, we just walked into his office. It was incredibly cool. I guess it wasn't crazy back then. So I got to shake hands with people, and it was really, really nice. And after a while, I got to know all the old Origin people just through emails and things like that. And my name got around. And now, to this day, at least once or twice a year, a box will appear on my doorstep like an abandoned baby with a letter that says, my wife says that I have to throw this stuff away and clean out the garage, and I can't just put it on the curb, so would you like it? And then I'm nice and say, I'll be happy to pay for any shipping that you have on this kind of stuff. And you do something like that, and that's how this stuff got completely out of control. Like I said, just last year, Electronic Arts gave us boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff, including Prince Thrakath, which is now the new jewel in the collection, with his armor and all that. He has it. Say again?
It's amazing that Electronic Arts hung on to that stuff. I mean, what closet do you suppose that stuff was sitting in?
The irony is this. Origin closed down, and they were in Texas. EA owned them, so all of their junk boxes went to California.
Right.
Well, they started a new company, which was Mythic, EA Mythic, which was Mythic Entertainment, in Virginia, and they became the successors to Ultima Online. So they were running UO out of Virginia, about 30 minutes from my house. So they took all that stuff in storage and moved it all to Virginia. So
That's
it was all coming closer and closer to me. And those guys basically, when Mythic closed down, what cracked me up is that there were a number of people, 2 people in fact, that independently wrote letters to EA Mythic saying, if you are closing down, don't throw away the Origin pieces. Make sure that Joe Garrity of the Origin Museum gets them. So I just got this email out of nowhere being invited to EA Mythic to get this stuff. Come pick it up before we throw it away. It was amazing.
Wow. Thank God you did.
Thrakath has this gigantic double, like this bandolier, like a graduation, I don't know, like a scarf. And it's all made out of rubber pieces that went all the way down his chest.
A stash.
All those pieces have been broken off, and I have them in the other room, but it's 100 pieces. I have to get that restored as well. So I need to start displaying this stuff and showing it off, and then maybe, as per Stuart's idea, maybe do a Kickstarter to go, look, if you loved games like I did, let's preserve this stuff and go through it. I don't want it preserved for the Origin Museum. I don't like the idea of people giving me money so that I can have a fun collection. That just, it's not appealing to me. But I think if I were to get Hobbs restored, if I were to ask people for money, I think in the end it should go somewhere. Where it goes, I do not know. Electronic Arts, Chris Roberts, I don't know.
Better not to.
Say again?
Better not to EA. I doubt that there are still guys who really value stuff like that. Not sure.
Well, the fact that they gave it to me means they don't value it. So that's what I mean. Where does it go?
Exactly.
That's a good question.
Should it go in your house, Pescar? Should I send Hobbs to you?
I told you that we have to move to a bigger place, so that could be right now quite a problem. But
I mean,
and if you would ask me to pay the shipping cost to Germany, then I guess I have to say thanks a lot, but
I know the thing will probably, when it's done, the thing's probably going to weigh about 80 pounds. Well, I was also thinking there's a video game museum in Germany.
Yeah, in Berlin.
In Berlin, and I was toying with that idea. I don't know yet. I have no idea. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I work in the basement of the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. I work under the Library of Congress. It's not impressive at all. I'm just a worker bee. I work in IT security. But I was talking to them, and although I love that they're preserving video games, I need to teach them lessons and things. They're folding all the boxes up and putting them in containers and things. They're actually crushing the boxes in order to save them. And I'm going, we need to talk. So I don't know if they would even be interested.
I mean, like a Smithsonian or someone like that at some point is going to have to get interested in gaming history, because gaming as a hobby is rapidly overtaking film. Like my generation, that's what we did, and the generations coming up, it's almost going to be more important pop culture than film in the future. So they're going to want this stuff, certainly.
And it's very interesting that you mentioned that, because very, very much like film, video games followed that same type of history. The beginning of the video game era, 90% of the games, just like Stuart was saying, have been lost to time. They're gone. We'll never get them back.
Every year another game disappears.
And that's just the same way it was in the beginning of Hollywood, you know? So it's a crime, and it needs to be covered. Hello, Eric. It's nice to meet you. How are you, sir?
Nice to meet y'all. Hi.
Hey, cool. Nice to meet you.
Tell us about yourself, sir.
I'm a full-time stuntman and filmmaker living in Richmond, California, which is in the Bay Area. And I live with my wife, and we have 15 chickens and 2 cats and a bunch of bees here on our little urban farm.
The bees are voluntary, I imagine?
Yeah. Yeah, no, we love our bees. We just got 1 hive right now, but we're gonna expand that probably.
Very, very cool. It's neat that I've gotten to talk to other people very briefly, either online or live and this stuff. And the cool thing about Eric, this is Eric Jacobus, by the way. He's a frequent poster in your forums, sir. In your forums, Joel. But what I thought was funny is that I was doing searches, and I just contacted Eric and said, by the way, do you live near such and such, near San Francisco? I think it's near San Francisco, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And he said, yeah, and I was looking up the original offices of California Pacific that did all those early titles. And it looks like Eric Eric works about 5-6 miles from the original building. And without even hesitating, he said, do you want me to go out there and take a picture? And I said, no, that's quite all right. But there was a little piece of me that wanted to say, yeah, take a picture. Go find that building for me. But this is how great these folks are. This is how great our community is already. And Joel, you built something very, very magical, and I hope that this can continue long past, this initial video chat. We also have The Legend of Neil. How are you, Neil?
I finally got it working now.
Oh, wonderful. Where are you from, sir?
I'm from the UK in a little town called Scarborough.
Ah, Scarborough. That's south.
No, Yorkshire, North Yorkshire, about in the middle.
Very, very cool. Let me get back to Eric, if you don't mind, for just a second.
Free.
Eric, do you have? It looks like you're in your collecting room right now. Why don't you share with us your favorite piece? What's the one that you're most proud of?
Let's see. Boy, yeah, this is also my office, so this is where I do my dirty work and do my editing. Let's see. I don't know. I can't like bring my iMac over and show you. I mean, I've got like my little rack. I mean, this is my Sierra cabinet back here.
Yeah.
And that's just all my Sierra stuff. I'll open it real quick. Just unplug this.
That's cool.
There, that's my Sierra stuff mostly. And I started collecting. I found this down the street in some kind of estate sale, and it was like one of those big boxes of PC games. It was like 35 pieces, and I bought all of them for $20.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Those type of deals are getting harder and harder to buy, I'll tell you.
Yeah, especially, I mean, anywhere you go now, it's really hard to find them.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Richmond, which there are a ton of there's a ton of Goodwills and stuff around here, but nobody in Richmond ever collected PC games. It's like that was kind of a suburban thing, I think, for like doctors and lawyers, and you want to head into the rich suburbs, into those Goodwills, and they seem to have them still.
Man, the urban kind of Goodwills around here are picked clean usually. It's the small town ones that I tend to find good stuff in.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. I picked up most of my Sierra titles, like all my Sierra titles, a very long time ago. That was a very long time ago. It feels like a very long, probably 20 years ago, or close to it. And there was nothing I was looking for, but now there is because I've expanded like what I'm looking for, obviously. But the common, like the relatively common Sierra titles, like the King's Quest and the Quest for Glories and the Police Quest and Space Quest, I'm always surprised like how cheap they are. Like people sell them for like peanuts. It feels like you see they auction. They're so cheap. I just don't get it. It's like do people not want these things, or is it just that they're so common that everybody has it already? Or I don't get it because they should be. They're great games. They're awesome. I think people just don't know about some of them still. I mean, that's all I can think. But I don't know.
I think so too, and I think a lot of those games have like production runs of 500,000 to 1 million, so they're not rare.
That's probably part of it.
The boxes,
you're right.
The boxes might be rare. I mean, but even then, like what, 1 in 10 kept them, and that's it's still 100,000 pieces. So.
King's Quest V, this thing I showed a minute ago. It seems like everyone has King's Quest V. I don't think I've seen a single collector that has King's Quest V. It's like the common game of the universe.
I don't.
5 and 6. You gotta get on it, buddy.
But they're such good games. It's just like, even if 50,000 of them exist or whatever, I mean, there's 300 million people in the U.S. just alone, or something like that. Now 400 million, whatever the number is now. I mean, I'm sure 99% of people have not played any of them. So
games that like changed my life, right? Like the games that just were like the ones. King's Quest V was one of them. Just blew me away. Wing Commander 3, Out of the Beholder 1, Floradians.
Oh, that was awesome.
Those are all games that just blew me away, right?
I just checked my King's Quest V inventory. I only got to 12 so far. Still room for improvements there, I guess.
You're storing them for the rest of us.
Pascal, you have something sitting right next to your monitor here. I want to know if you will be
on the left or on the right.
Say again.
On the left
We
or
only
on the
see
right?
the left. We don't see the right.
Oh,
that is right. Hi, Cliffy. Hi.
Incredibly cool. Neil, do you think you can show us something?
Yeah. Whilst I was trying to get this working, you actually mentioned something that I just nipped upstairs to actually go and get. Not PC, but Commodore 64, and
Cool.
I can't remember which one of you actually mentioned it, but it's Zork 2. Hold it back a bit. And I've also got a Zork 3.
Nice.
So the question would be, where is Zork 1?
Well, I seem to remember I spotted these in a second-hand shop, seeing as it says £1 on one of these and £2 on the other.
Wow.
Well, I believe that Pascal may be able to help you out with his Zork 1, but £1 is probably not going to work.
Yeah, actually, I do not have so many Infocom earlier games in my collection because I was too young back then. So I'm not collecting everything. So I'm try to focus on how I raised up with games and stuff. So I have the Zork type. I have Zork 1, 2, and 3. I have what will I have again? The Goddess of Phobos and the Hitchhiker Guide of Galaxy. But that's it. I don't have any other of the early
Steve
Infocom.
Moretsky. He's
Yeah.
awesome. He wrote both those games.
In the box that I bought, they had about 12 Infocom games that were complete with all the feelings.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I got.
Right. If we talk about those, I got both that. Okay, the treasures, the Infocom collections. Right. I got both of them.
Wait a second. So did you say you got 12 Infocom games complete in the box, plus a bunch of Sierra titles for like $20? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, this lady didn't know what she had.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so good for me.
Great for you. There we go, Zork.
Wow.
I posted these four. These are the TRS-80 copies, which is more famous because of me and Stuart's heated exchange about the coin.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Back in the early days.
And you have
the coin is here. Yeah.
That coin is like very sought after.
I don't know if this is like a light release or what the deal was with it, but these are the Color Computer 2 copies of Zork. Actually,
That's my wife.
Come on, Booty. Hi. Come on, here's Booty.
Does she collect?
What's that?
What does she collect?
She collects bees and inorganic gardening supplies.
Excellent.
Has nothing to do with this. Yeah, these are some of the Zork games that came with mine, and I would bring the camera down to the Infocom selection. It would be great to get a complete Infocom set, but those games are surprisingly expensive.
Yeah, they are.
You know, they go up into the $50 to $100 range pretty often. And what are there, like 25 releases or something like that?
And they were the first of their kind.
More than 25, I think.
Interactive fiction.
Yeah.
this is pretty common actually,
Yeah.
but this particular one is a little less common because it's the floppy version, and a lot of people bought the floppy disk version. It's on 10,000 floppy disks.
FMV floppy game.
Yeah, but I don't see the floppy disk version of this come up as often as the CD one. That's for sure.
Do you have the CD one also, or
I do. I popped the jewel case separate and just kind of stuck it in here, just in the box. But
is the floppy version the same as the CD? Like
it is not.
A lot of stuff cut out.
All of the full motion video is not there on the floppy version. It's got like this cheapo faked out version of the videos where it's just like a still image with the mouth kind of doing this, you know.
So in a way, you need that wonderful acting, do you?
Kind of funnier that way, but at the time it was way different.
So I have something cool which I can pull out if you want, but it's a copy of Return to Zork that was designed for MPEG hardware. So I found this randomly somehow, but and I played Return to Zork when it came out, and I was in college at the time. I'm dating myself now, but friends of mine, it was actually pretty hot when it came out. There were people I knew that didn't know jack squat about computer games who were playing Return to Zork. But if you remember the CD version, there's video in the beginning, and then when you first get the teleorb, there's video, and then after about like 2 or 3 movies, it changes into a still picture of the wizard. He's just yapping, with the still picture. But on this, they actually recorded video for all that stuff. And on the MPEG version, designed for the special hardware, they have a version with all the videos in it. And you can open up the CD and you can play the videos and see what they all look like. There must be a way to hack it to get it to run on a computer today. It's like a project of mine for down the road. I haven't done it yet, but
Cool.
I'm sure it's possible. So that's the type of thing which I really find exciting. Just back in the day, I was always looking for like the floppy version was out there. I want the CD version. The CD version's out there. I want the DVD version. If there was some increased quality, nowadays there's a lot of reissues and remakes and remasters. But I'm talking about stuff that they actually was there back in the day, but just most people never saw because they just didn't have the right hardware. Like people know about the Roland stuff or the Sierra games and things like that, but there's some stuff that's just totally obscure and nobody even knows it exists. So, anyway, I'll stop talking.
Correct me if I'm
I think
wrong.
it's cool.
Stuart, correct me if I'm wrong, but it has like more than 20 discs or so, right?
Which one? The floppy version?
Yeah.
Return to Zork. Let's see.
I hardly can't remember any game that came on more than 20 discs.
This was like right when floppy disks started basically going the way of the dodo. Let's see, how many disks are in this pile? Fortunately, I still have all the crap. That's why I'm having to dig through it. So I can get them out of here without spilling them all over the floor. Oh, there went one.
Windows 95 was in 22 floppy disks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, what is the game that had most floppy disks?
There's the pile.
Wow.
See, disc 1 of 12. It's only 12. It's only 12 discs.
Oh.
That's not horrible. Wow.
Windows 95 was in 22 floppy disks.
Yeah, and we all remember CRCM was on disk 80. So you're sitting there installing out.
Yeah, OS2 Warp was on 10,000 discs too. I have that back there, floppy. We didn't get into CD-ROMs and very late because didn't have a lot of money, so they were expensive back in the day.
I was that idiot that bought a 1X, a 2X, a 4X, an 8X CD-ROM drive. So I paid for the research and development of all of you people under here. I had to be the biggest on my block. I don't know what I was thinking.
We had a VGA card earlier than most people for some reason. I don't know why my father bought one, but he did. So whenever Out of the Boulder came out, the graphics, I was like the kid in school that all the kids were like, "Wow, man, it's like amazing."
Joel, what did your dad do?
He was a computer specialist. He worked for the Forest Service. He was into networking and stuff before networking was cool. He built the networking. He built the network for the local Forest Service thing. So before that he was in the Navy, and he was in communications. So he built radios. So he's always been a gearhead, which is why I guess he went into computers.
That is incredibly cool. All right, I believe it might be my turn again. This is something that is really odd, but I think people might enjoy it. A lot of people are familiar with Ultima Underworld. One of the things that they gave out back in the days of the computer game store was, on the side of the counter they would have a very small stand where they would show new games that were being released, one of which was Ultima Underworld. This is a 5 1/4-inch version of the Ultima Underworld demo disc.
Wow.
This is literally what it is. It's a little triangle. It folds up into a triangular piece that kind of sits on the table with a 5 1/4-inch disc. That if you wanted to try this new game, I think it was $4 or something like that, and it's the first level of Ultima Underworld. I got a hold of this sealed and went, I'm never opening this, but there's a 5 1/4-inch disc in there, and it basically it covers what is recommended and the setting up for the 10 card display, which I think is pretty neat.
Wasn't there also
These are just some of the strange, just the ridiculously weird stuff that I hold on to, specifically because when it comes to the games, with the exception of a few, I have the games. That's not a big deal. I love seeing other people's games. I start getting into collecting all the strange extra stuff that came along with it. And you can see my obsessions behind me. It gets out of control here.
Actually, I never saw the disc of that one. Can you open it and show us the disc, please?
Well, all right. I think I can. No, I'm not opening this. Are you kidding? No. Actually, I might have a second one. So if you really are serious, I might open one. If you really want to know. But it probably, I'm guessing that it looks exactly the same as the Ultima Underworld disc that was issued in some of the first Ultima 7 boxes.
Okay.
But speaking of Ultima 7, I wanted to show Joel this. If you give me just a moment.
This is going to make me jealous.
Yeah, go.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me? What did you say?
I don't believe you. It's going to make me jealous.
Oh. Well, he was talking about the Black Gate and it being very easy to blemish. This happens to be a sealed one, but on the back of the Ultima 7, on the back of the Ultima 7 box was an advertisement from PC Games. It was the review that they put on a one sheet.
Wow.
For that. So it literally just is a piece of paper that's underneath the plastic. And I believe this is the original release of that. So these are incredibly hard to find. Sometimes you find them in the box. Does it add to the value of the game? I don't know. But I know that when the complete original version has this.
Wow. It's probably my favorite box design of all time. A lot of you guys know I'm a graphic designer by trade, and that black box is just sick. It's good stuff.
I think they almost didn't get it approved, did they? Because it was too plain, if I'm right.
Yeah.
That's what I heard, yes. That's correct.
I've actually got one here that follows on from Joe's Ultima Underworld.
Say that again?
I've got one that follows on from your Ultima Underworld demo disc, ironically. Not a big box, but a jewel case, but it's a Pocket PC version.
Very, very cool.
But if you look closely...
Ooh!
There's a signature there.
Hold it still.
She may recognize.
You gotta talk while you're showing it, otherwise it switches the camera to the next person.
Ah, okay. There we go. How about that?
Nice.
What's the story behind that?
Someone that Joe Garrity will know quite well, Joseph Toshlog, I think it is, on...
Oh, you bought it from him.
Yeah. But I decided if I was going to get a signed copy, I'd pick something quite obscure, so I went for the Pocket PC version of it.
I believe you chose wisely. That's a very cool item because that was long after the days of Garriott. I think it's kind of funny that Richard may not have even known about that title when he signed it.
Yeah, I then picked up a normal copy, which I then proceeded to open just to see what was in it.
Yeah, and they're relatively cheap. Look at this. Pascal is like climbing on top of
Yeah, I need to get
Look at his next match. I love it. Show us, Pascal. Show us what you worked so hard to acquire.
So
Whoa.
that one is hanging on my wall.
Oh my god.
Soft porn adventure. That one actually, if I get it quickly out of the frame.
You have a whole collection of Sierra Adventures, right?
Yeah, that's right. One actually.
Pascal, you have to tell us what you do for a living.
Later.
He sells crack.
That one is signed by Chuck Benton.
Oh my gosh.
That is what I liked about these guys from back then. They are really so open and so open for discussions if you contact them or so. So I contacted Chuck Benton. Pardon me. I contacted Chuck Benton months ago and asked him if he could sign me a version of soft porn, and so he agreed on it, and I sent it over to him from Germany to America. No? He signed it for me, took a picture with the folder in it, and sent it back to me, and I really think, wow, that was really awesome. Oh, yeah, that was in April last year, actually.
Incredibly cool.
And the funny thing about that one, that is why I put it off the wall, is as most of you guys know, I guess, that is the only text-only adventure Sierra ever released. Now, back then at the time, they had the High-Res series, and this one does not get a High-Res title because it was text adventure only, and the High-Res games were like with graphics. You were able to switch them on and off, but they had graphics. That one was without graphic, and the funny thing is, and even Chuck Benton didn't know that one, is some of the Sierra games back then were ported to Japanese systems. And this one, Las Vegas, is the Japanese version of Soft Porn Adventure. And the funny thing is, they release it with graphics. So the only text-only adventure from Sierra got graphics in Japan, and I really think that is an incredible thing because
amazing.
They did it from scratch and put on graphics and some nudity posters.
Strangely compelling postcard.
Pascal, I only heard about that when you posted it on the group like 6 months ago, or whatever it was. How did you even hear about it?
Right, exactly.
So how did you find out that it existed?
Okay, yeah, I did some a while ago. I did really a huge research on the internet about Sierra and games and different versions, because some of you guys know I'm looking for international releases, and sometimes I started to look into the Japanese market and found some pretty interesting versions there. And when I started the first challenge was, what is the Japanese name of the English Sierra game name? So I have to translate that and find out the Chinese, Japanese names. And doing that research, then I come to that Las Vegas version. Just by incident, because the publisher, StarCraft, that was a publisher in Japan. And I found a list of all the games they published. And Las Vegas was on that list as well. And then I came from Las Vegas to Soft Porn and to stuff like that.
It's incredible.
That is really a nice one.
You have to wonder if being a celebrity to these folks is like a new, because you know that probably when they were working, they probably didn't have a lot of requests for autographs and stuff. I don't know. I didn't really reach out to them or anything, but Lord British is probably more used to it than the Sierra folks.
No, you're absolutely right. Because Chuck Benton, he did that one title basically. He actually did. There's a second release with a company called Blue Sky Software, which I think was his company, and Sierra picked it up and published it under their own name. So there's a previous release of Software that's not Sierra. Now Pascal's getting it from his shelf probably. And that was basically the only title he did for them. When Sierra converted Softporn to the PC, because the original version never came out on the IBM PC, they were converted to the PC when they released one of the first Leisure Suit Larry collections, and they got some other guy to do it. Like Chuck wasn't involved. He went after this one game that he did. He went off to do. He's a computer guy, and he went to work at some computer company, and he has nothing to do with the gaming industry at all. Oh, there it is. He's showing it. I can see.
Wow. I should have known. Pascal has this as well.
Did he sign that for you too?
Yeah, that is the one actually. He signed that too. That is
What does it say?
I don't have the disc. I mean, I'm really happy to have that. I only have the folder, but that was the release before Sierra took over and published it under the Sierra label. But
So there's another collector named Howard Feldman who told me that he reached out to Chuck, and Chuck sent him a folder. He had a couple of them, actually, at one point. So I did the same. I emailed Chuck, and I said, hey, and he said, sure, I'll send you a folder. He has, like, a pile of them still, and he never sent it to me. I reached out to him, like, 2 years later, hey, what about that folder? He's like, oh, yeah, sure. When I find it, it's in one of these boxes somewhere. Someday I'll get around to it, and I'm sure I'll never get it, but it's out there. It'll probably be like, one day thrown out in the garbage, and only a couple of them actually exist.
Hey, real quick, Joel, I'm noticing that when I talk, I can see. Yeah, I can see my. Okay, anyway.
Groovy, thanks everyone. I appreciate everybody muting when they're not. When the conversation isn't continuing.
So
it's feedback now.
I went away for a long time to try to find that Return to Zork MPEG version. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it. My stuff was just too much of a mess. But I found another one that's similar. This is a game that someone posted recently, Conspiracy, also called KGB, and they were talking about the group how this has like the worst video ever seen in a game, or one of the examples of the worst video ever. But they actually released this MPEG version. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll try to bring it closer to the camera. Hold on. There. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there was this company called Real Magic that made these MPEG boards, and they partnered with a number of companies to produce special versions of the games that had additional support for their hardware. So they did one for Return to Zork that has more video, and they did one for this game, Conspiracy, that has much, much better video. Again, you can't really play it like that today because you don't have the board. So somebody has to emulate the board or something like that, or play it on a very old piece of hardware. But it's cool that we have it at least.
I may have one of those boards.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I can copy any of these for you if you want.
I had no idea. I didn't really realize what you were talking about at first, but my first DVD drive came with a Real Magic MPEG board that you had to have to watch movies.
So the DVD was MPEG 2. I know that Real Magic, before, I think they went out of business, but before that they did DVD boards also. So originally they had MPEG 1, and they made MPEG 2. I don't know if the MPEG 2 would support MPEG 1 also. They may or they may not, but certainly if you have a computer that has a thing in it, it's really worth a try. You want to play Real Return to Zork the way it was always intended for the first time. Anyway, so who hasn't spoken yet? Who hasn't shown anything yet? Who hasn't told a story yet? Some of the people that can't talk because they're
I see Tomas online now.
Yes, I'm back.
Oh boy.
Wonderful to see you, sir.
Hello. Yeah, can you? My mic was not working. Hopefully, it's working now.
I see. We see and we hear you.
All right, great. Well,
why don't you tell us about yourself, sir?
I'm from Jersey. Well, originally from Poland, but I'm in actually next to Stewart, I believe. Not too far. So from northern Jersey. Seems like I'm, I guess, one of the younger folk in there, but I'm not that young as it is. But
What are you saying? What are you saying?
So how old are you?
I'm 33.
I'm 32. I don't look it.
I'm just going to be quiet.
I'm just messing with you guys.
Yeah, so it's funny. You live like 5 minutes away from me, like literally. It's
Uh-huh.
after we put that whole map out, there's like nobody lives anywhere near each other. Then you put your dot like right next to my dot. So
Yeah, I thought you were in New York, and I just saw
I know
it.
because I fudged mine a little bit.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't have that many. My collection is fairly small to compare to some of yours, so it's just whatever is behind me.
It's beautiful. What's the object they desire that you prize more than any others? What was the one that was hardest to get?
The hardest one to get was probably Collector's Editions Morrowind because it was so freaking expensive. That's why.
We apologize for that. It's our fault.
This thing is ridiculously overpriced, but I was able to get it finally after checking eBay every day for like a year, and it was just I think I finally shelled out like $200 for it, and I was kicking myself in the ass for it because that's.
And is that the one with the coin and the?
No, that's that's the one with the little statue, because it has this little.
The Ordinator or whatever.
Ordinator, a little sucker here. I'm worth $200.
So sadly enough, $200 is probably a bargain for that game.
Yeah.
Do you have the little box that it came in?
Yes. Yes.
I will make you mad by saying that I bought this new at Electronics Boutique $50 back in the day. It was the only one they had on the shelf too.
You didn't have to do that. That was just mean, Joel.
No, that's pretty much it. That's my most it's not my favorite possession, but this is the one where I took probably the longest for me to find. That other than that, it's fairly bleak behind me, but I'm just getting started.
It doesn't look too bleak to me. So what's your favorite?
Fallout, obviously. This is pretty much my holy grail of games, the way they should be designed, RPGs, and just in general. When if you ever you watch like Matt Barton, he has this little intro. Have you ever loved the game? That's pretty much it. That's like I love this game. But that's it's pretty cool. If anybody hasn't played it yet, then I'm sure you guys did. But
do you have the Fallout 3 collectors? I see the little
Fallout 3 collectors. But there's one I actually want to talk about. I wouldn't mind. Recently got this Wasteland Kickstarter edition.
Kickstarter, yeah.
Wasteland 2. And I don't know if you guys got it, but I'm actually kind of disappointed by the box because it seems flimsy and very thin. Sort of like the Fallout 3 collector's one just had some sort of feel to it. But this was, I don't know if I know they had this done by a third party, I guess some manufacturer in Europe, probably I think Austria or somewhere. And it looks very flimsy.
The money's in the game. The money is in the game. You did the Kickstarter in order to have the game.
I know, but I just wish, they put more effort into the content. I love the game, but,
Did you support the Kickstarter, or did you buy it, like, afterwards?
No, I supported from day one. But, like, they had this little General Vargas here. He's, like, all little plastic, it's
It's like Army Men painted silver.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's kind of bummed that one. I mean, I love the game, but it was kind of bummed.
So I supported it only at the lower level and got the regular box.
Yeah.
And I was looking at eBay though. There are people. I don't know if it's still the case, but a couple weeks ago there was a whole bunch of people selling the collector's box for very cheap. Even like some of them were signed. They must have supported like at least like $250, $300, and went for like $100. And I wish I bought it. I was like tapped out. I'm tapped out right now, but
I wonder if the makers had some leftover stock.
That could be too. That could be.
Or somebody.
No, it's the type of thing that like it's going to be, I'm sure, a collector's item, regardless of how flimsy it is. Probably even more so because most people that have it'll fall apart, and yours will be in good condition, and you'll have it forever. So
that will be a tricky one. I mean, I backed a lot of projects on Kickstarter, and if I got a physical box, the quality is really bad at all. I don't have any box right now that is good quality out of Kickstarter. So I understand the reason they really want to. They don't get so much money at the end. Even if they get hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's not that much for developing really a high quality game. So I understand that, but I see in the boxes out of Kickstarter in 5 or 10 years from now, if you still have one which is in good condition, then that could be something, because they are really that thin and not so good quality at all.
Well, the Wasteland 2 box, the cheaper one that I got, I didn't open it. It's still sealed, but it seems pretty hefty to me. And I think the Broken Sword 5 box,
okay, yeah, that one
is pretty good.
That is
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Mobius box was terrible, for example.
Yeah, the Mobius was terrible. The Leisure Suite Larry Reloaded was even worse.
Yeah, that was terrible. That's right.
The what was that game? Divine Divinity 1 was a good quality box. It just wasn't big. It was DVD sized collector's edition. I'm gonna grab that real quick.
I think what makes this interesting is that there are many Kickstarters out there, and they're putting all the money into the game, obviously. But there is one Kickstarter that has done extremely well, and that is Star Citizen. That's Chris Roberts' new game, which many of you are probably familiar with. But what I think is wonderful about that is that all of their extras and giveaways are incredibly high quality. All of the things that you buy, they made absolutely sure that they are incredibly high quality. For example, when you kickstarted the game, you got to choose what ship you were buying. Basically, the more money you paid, the better your ship ended up being. And I have a friend in the industry who actually works with Star Citizen, and just because he knows I'm with the Origin Museum, he sent me my ship. I didn't ask for this, but he sent it to me, and I want to show this to you. This is the ship that I have in Star Citizen. This is the Constellation, and it is incredibly high quality, and all of the pieces move on it and move back and forth. I mean, it's unbelievably cool. That I believe they're selling these for like $99 a piece.
Wow.
You know,
that's awesome.
It's incredibly cool, and I
I'm
thought it was
amazed
really neat.
That for 100, how much? What was the buy-in for that, if you don't mind saying?
For the biggest ship, I paid $250 just
That's
because
cheap.
I'm a bit of a Wing Commander fan. So I went, okay, I'm gonna go through with it. I think they're up to $72 million now.
Oh my God.
But it literally is an open space world, and you can do just about anything you can possibly imagine. You can fight, you can explore, you can mine for minerals, you can raid other people's ships, you can destroy them, but you can actually board other people's ships and capture them and take them as your own if you end up winning them. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, wow. 70 million.
I still have some mixed feelings about Star Citizen. I backed it on the lowest level to get access to the game and get one ship and this lifetime insurance that I could never get killed at all.
Yes. Well, you can get killed, but your ship comes back when you blow up.
Exactly. So I have some mixed feelings because I really like what they're doing and like that they get millions of dollars, but they have so many ideas and so many things, and they have to deliver somehow. No? I mean,
I totally agree with you. It seemed like they have gone ridiculously far outside of their original scope, and I hope the game does not suffer for it, but I have not seen any sign of the game suffering because of it. They just keep spending that money on hiring new people to fulfill the promises that they originally made, and they're doing a wonderful, wonderful job. I've seen other games that they make a lot of promises and then they end up changing things over. Perhaps I should stop the broadcast for this particular thing, but I was very slightly disappointed in Shroud of the Avatar, the Richard Garriott game, for the spiritual successor to Ultima, because it was originally designed as a single-player game in a multiplayer environment. And because the UO people came in and basically said, we want the new Ultima Online, they mixed it up a bit, and now it's mainly an online game, which I'm a little disappointed in. I wish they had kept it that single person or a group of 2, 3, or 4 that you could go and venture together. But this total online open world idea, I think they kind of exceeded their scope, just as Pascal was saying.
So I backed Shroud of the Avatar only for the single player mode. I'm not a multiplayer gamer at all. I've done it in the past, but it doesn't. I don't find it captivating for whatever reason. I like to have, control. The reason why I never liked it in the past, I always felt like you have to be playing all the time, or you get eclipsed by people that are like have no lives and play all the time. It's not like that anymore because you have all these instances and shards and whatever else. But anyway, so I only backed it for the single player, and if the single player sucks, I'm gonna be disappointed. In terms of Star Citizen, that's one of the few things I didn't back because I like the Wing Commander games primarily for the story and the interaction with the characters, and I'm not like an Elite guy or a Star Control 2 guy where you go out in space and do like whatever the hell you want, you can find some cool stuff. I want there to be like a story. Like I like the cinematic nature of Wing Commander. That's what really drew me to it. And Star Citizen, it seems like they went in the other direction. It's like it'll be an open world, and that's great, but I guess more like Wing Commander. What's that spinoff that they had? Not Armada.
Privateer.
Strike Commander or whatever it was. Yeah, it's like they had some spin-offs which are more like that, but the Wing Commander main series was not like Star Citizen is going to be. It looks, so I just like, okay, it's not for me, but teach their own. $8 million or $72 million can't be wrong, so I guess.
Not to get off the subject, but Jake is showing some of his collection in the text area that I think is really, really cool. He shows an original sealed Commander Keen first release. If you guys want to go over and look at the picture that he posted on that, that is incredibly cool. That predates Doom. That predates all of them, and I believe that is a direct sale. That is only through id Software, if I'm not mistaken. Jake, you can confirm that in text if you like. But
that's cool. Hey guys, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for organizing this, Joe. I got to run. Look forward to catching the next one with y'all.
Well,
thanks for joining.
Thanks so much, Eric. I appreciate you taking the time to come and hang out with us.
Yeah, and Joel, your package is in the mail. And so
Thank
is
you
your
very much.
See y'all.
Bye bye.
So incredibly cool.
Yeah, Commander Keen boxes are so expensive, incredible expensive. If you have a sealed one, that is, well, I don't want to know how high that goes on eBay right now.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah. I think he's showing his collection now.
Yeah, that's an example of something which back in the day, like I don't know if it was available or not, but I was just like, okay, it's not, it doesn't fit in my collection, whatever right now it is, so I'm not looking for it. And then when I started saying, hey, Commander Q is a really great game, I'd like to pick that up too, it's basically impossible now. I mean, unless you want to pay huge, I guess I can spend $129 to get that, whatever that one is that the guy's selling on eBay. There's still 7 copies of it left.
A sealed Goodbye Galaxy.
Right, exactly. But it's like, I don't honestly want to spend $129 for it, really. I mean, it's like, especially I don't feel like at that point it's like I'm finding something. Again, I see you have it, Pascal. I don't feel like I'm finding something rare, which is a lot of the thrill of the collecting hunt is like you find something. It's supposed to like this guy like has a whole bunch of them, and it's like, oh, here you go, $1,000 a pop. Like as soon as you raise $1,000, I'll give you your copy of, Akalabeth or whatever it is. If it's like that, then it loses a lot of the, I don't know, the fun for me, I guess. But.
Well, I need to respectfully disagree. I mean, just because a collector pays full price for it doesn't necessarily take anything away from the game itself and the collectability of that game. Getting it cheap is interesting, but I don't really think that's always the point in this kind of thing. Some people have to end up paying more, and I know that in the future people will end up paying a ridiculous amount that we ended up being in the first tier level of collecting on.
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant was, not that I mean, I don't like paying a lot, that's true, but that's not what I meant. What I mean is that right now that guy has 7 copies of Goodbye Galaxy. I'm very certain that as soon as he has 1 copy of Goodbye Galaxy, he will have 0 very, very fast after that, because there's a lot of people that are looking at it and thinking about buying it and they're not sure. But there's 7 out there right now, so it's like, it's like the store has it. I can get it now. I can get it later. If he had only 1 copy and he was like doling them out, I mean, I think he was doing that at one point. He just got tired of it. He's like, I got to get rid of this stuff and just clear it out. But because that's the case right now, I think some people are just not pulling the trigger because it's like it's readily available. Even though it's whatever price it is, it's readily available. But once there's 1 left, like some guys will be like, oh crap, I got to buy it right now, otherwise it's not going to be there and he'll be gone. So anyway,
I get a better understanding of it now. Yeah.
So who else? Anybody else have anything really cool to show that you haven't shown yet?
If we stick to Commander Keen a while, I mean, I still have 2 boxes I'm missing for Commander Keen. I have that cool demo, special edition demo. Actually, I was pretty lucky. Not a while ago, I got 2 Keen boxes that came in a lot. This is part 4 to 6, and this is a demo of one of those. That was in a lot that someone had on eBay, and he was like having 8-9 different games in this slot, and he didn't mention Commander Keen, and I just saw it by showing the picture that both Commander Keen boxes were in that as well, and I got it for like, I don't know, $40 or so. So this was really one of the best finds on eBay this year for me, because if you put them on a single base on eBay, they go, I don't know.
Amazing. Hold them up. Hold them still.
So you posted those on Facebook a few days ago, but I've never seen those before, either one of them. Like,
yeah, I put those on eBay.
What's the story behind them? Like, are they like registered versions, shareware? Are they direct from ID software, id Software, I should say? Are they store retail releases? Are they U.S., European?
So that one, this one is directly from ID. This is the demo of Alien Ate My, I guess it was, yeah, Alien Ate My Babysitter. This was just the first level of that one. This was with some, you got some coupons for if you buy the big box for $9.99 and stuff. That came from ID. This collection came from ID directly as well, if I'm not wrong. And you have this one. This box came for part 1 to 3 as well, and that is the one I'm still looking for. But again, they're so hard to find, unbelievable. I know one in Germany who had a few, and he sold some in Europe, and there was a collector who paid more than 1,000 euros for 2 Commander Keen games. So I don't want to know how high they end if they show up on eBay. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, like, nobody back in the day had those games in the box. Like, I mean, I played all the Commander Keen games, but like I downloaded them from BBS.
Right.
And then if I wanted to register, I registered it. Like, I never, if I saw it in the store, I probably was like, who are these idiots buying in the store? Like, it's readily available on the internet, or I should say BBS at the time. So that's why they're so rare. I think hardly anybody bought it in the store.
Well, thanks to the hard work of Joel and others, John Romero is part of our group, and he is a relatively approachable guy. But what I have found over the past decade is John Romero loves showing off his stuff, but he will never sell. He will never go through all that stuff. So I can't say that he will be able to complete anyone's collections. However, I do know that he loves showing his stuff off, and if he would be so kind as to join our group sometime in the future, maybe he can give us the history on some of these and show off pieces of his own collection, which would be really, really cool for Pascal and for Jake, who can see all of the original versions that he held on to.
Yeah, actually, I'm still waiting for him, because he mentioned he had some promotional boxes or early stage boxes of Commander Keen, which I have never seen before, and I really hope he will share that with us.
I certainly hope so too. I know he's very busy right now. I think he's in LA doing some kind of gaming convention right now.
Okay.
Sadly, the original Quake release you could buy in the store was not a big box at all, but this shareware version right here. And
there was no big box.
They did have a big box, but it wasn't. This was before that, actually.
Yeah, there was eventually. One of their methods was to sell the shareware first, and that's what version 1.0 of Doom was. And I believe that the final version where they released everything was version 1.1.
So I've seen copies of the box version on eBay, and the CD that comes in those versions looks exactly like those shareware CDs. Well, I'm assuming it's different contents on the CD. Yeah, exactly, and the case looks the same too. So I actually have a copy of that I bought in the store when it came out, like you, Joel. And on that disc, if you're probably sure you know this, there's like Triware versions for like every single other game that id made to that point. You aware of that?
I was not aware of that.
So there's like Wolfenstein. I'm not sure if they have Spear of Destiny or not, but they have Wolfenstein, they have Heretic, Hexen, Doom, Doom 2, Doom 3, whatever, everything they made pretty much. And it was all like the shareware version, but if you wanted to buy it, you could go to id Software's website and buy it from them, and they'd give you a code, and then you type the code into the CD, and it would unlock the game. But of course, like the day after the shareware CD was released, some guy released a program to crack the CD basically, and give you access to everything that was on there for free if you were unscrupulous like I was at the time. And basically, through that CD, I owned every single one of the id Software catalog, not in a completely legitimate way, but I mean, I was pretty like.
I just popped the CD in, and the entire everything's on here. Everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And Final Doom, Doom 2, the whole 9 yards.
And I was pretty like straight-laced at the time, but I was thinking to myself, like, John Carmack is supposed to be like a genius, and a programming genius. And if he releases a program that like some guy can crack in one day, then he deserves me to copy like all his games down and like play them all. So anyway, so I never bought any of the id Software titles because I had them at that point. But I did get John Romero to autograph my copy of the shareware CD when I met him one time, and I think I'm not sure if he thought it was the retail version of the shareware, and I certainly didn't tell him I cracked all the games, but he was nice enough to sign it for me. So.
That's true. When I was a kid, I don't have a lot of boxes for a lot of games because, you know, when I was little, I didn't know any better, and I did, you know, get my buddies to copy me things and stuff. So, it's sad. Seems to be a sad truth of growing up being a PC gamer is because I mean, when you're a kid, you don't know, you don't care about laws and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was unfamiliar with this Quake stuff though. That's useful information.
Yeah, it's good to know. I mean, I don't think it helps you anymore, but the time was pretty useful. I mean, I used to copy like all sorts of stuff. I'm sorry, you gonna say something? I apologize.
No, sorry. When you're a kid, you just end up throwing things out. I was wondering, like, what's the worst thing you guys threw out that, like, now you're just kicking yourself in the ass, like, oh my god, I can't believe I just threw out this box or something. You know, that's, you know, because this happened.
Right now that I have not replaced my Battlespire box that I threw out, I'm really wishing I hadn't done that.
I cleaned out my mother's house after she passed away, and in the effort of throwing out a whole lot of stuff, I remember specifically putting the triangular Day of the Tentacle box in the garbage and smashing it down to make room for other things.
Not good.
Oh, I had collector's editions that were too big to move when we moved. Like Myst 3 was a huge box, and I threw that out. Pools of Radiance, Ruins of Myth Draenor, terrible game, but another massive box that I threw out. Man, it's killing me. But there's so much stuff I threw away that I wish I had back.
Oh, Pascal is tormenting me. He's tormenting me right now. Look at him spinning it in front of. Oh gosh, look at him.
Oops.
You
So
are
here-
evil, Pascal.
Here's the Quake share manual that John signed for me. That he was nice enough to do that. There's a story behind the description too, obviously, but which Joe knows. But
What does it say? Sure.
Walking
It's-
back with Blue Party.
right. So the story is briefly that so John was a member of this software collecting list that Joe and I were both on, and he had a part. This is how I got my Karateka disc signed by Jordan Mechner too. So he had a party that he threw for like Apple II like programmers basically, and he said
Romero. Romero had the party.
Romero had the party, right? Not Joe. Romero had the party, and he invited like all these different Apple II game programmers, and then he was like to people on this email list, like, "Hey, if any of you guys want to come, like, feel free to come." And I flew out from New York to Malibu to go to this party. It was like 10 years ago. I remember my daughter was like a baby, an infant, like 10 or 11 years ago, and basically it was really cool. Like John, like he was like so down to earth. Met a lot of his friends and whatnot. He signed this for me. Jordan Mechner was there. He signed the Karateka. Steve Wozniak was there too. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything for him to sign, but it was just an awesome thing. So the guy's a really cool guy. Just as Joe said, he's just so busy. I think he cares more about the old games and the collecting than probably all the new stuff he's doing right now. But he just has to obviously keep his projects going and whatnot. And there's so many people contacting him all the time nowadays to like he probably has just very little time. But very cool.
What's funny is that this was kind of an old news group. This was a website that was text only, and it was the Software Collectors Group. And Romero jumps in, and he's talking about his stuff and saying, "Oh, I've got that, I've got this, I've got this." Then he just mentions this party, and I believe that Stuart, you were one of the only people in the group who actually went. Is that correct?
It was me and Howard Feldman, the guy that runs the Museum of Computer Adventure Game History.
That's right. Okay. But basically, I saw it and I went, "Oh yeah, like I don't think he's really inviting us. He's just saying that he's having a party." Well, I should have went. I basically told Stuart's story to my wife, and my wife stood up and looked at me and went, "Woz was there? I would have went if you'd have told me Woz was coming." And I went, "I didn't know. Nobody knew." But he had all of the early Apple programmers. That is one of the things that, Stuart, I can never take away from you. That is one of the things that I can say that is the most envious moment that I think that I should have shared with you and didn't. I didn't think anything of it. But he had everybody from the old Apple II stuff. John is very, very much into preserving the old games, and more importantly, preserving the history. He used that party, from what I heard, to have a separate room and recorded the memories and thoughts of every single one of the original Apple game programmers. I don't think he's released it anywhere, but it's going to be an incredibly cool little video once he puts it all together.
Yeah, not all the people that he invited showed up, but like it was pretty cool. And then the thing that was nice about it wasn't like I was meeting somebody like asking for an autograph. It was like I was another person hanging out at the party. So I got to like chat with Tom Hall, with Lane Roth, who worked with John as well, with a lot of these guys, these programmers, and like I said, Jordan Mechner was there, Tommy Tallarico was there, and he actually, because of that connection, I told you, Joe, like I ended up getting backstage passes to Video Games Live when he put out that show.
Amazing.
So, yeah, the whole thing was just great. I mean, I don't want to brag about this, but it was a great experience, obviously. And I didn't do anything except show up.
The opportunities lost. What I think is even cooler is that Romero right now is in the process of preserving games. Who's got the delay on right now? Okay, good. He's in the process of preserving games right now, and what's really cool is that from what I hear, an old Apple programmer passed away recently, And what was amazing is that the family contacted John and his wife and basically said, look, we want to get rid of all this old Apple stuff. Would you be interested in it? And John and his wife jumped on the chance and drove out there and grabbed all of the old Apple stuff that this person had developed, including his machine, plus all of his original documentation and things like that. So he is preserving the legacy just as we are. So hopefully, if I can push enough buttons and suck up enough, and Joel can help me work on this, maybe we'll have John in here showing off some of his pieces of his collection and show us what real collectors and real preservationists are doing at this time.
That would be awesome. I mean, that'd be like a dream come true. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that I would have started a group that, you know, I could connect with John Romero, who's one of my idols in gaming, really. I mean, I know he catches a lot of flack for Daikatana, but you can't. You definitely can't discount, you know, what he's given us. That's for sure.
And I will be very disappointed if no one in this group, if he ever does make it to one of these meetings, if no one ends up busting his balls about Daikatana, I will be very upset. Somebody's got to do it. Any volunteers?
All you gotta do is tell him that, you know, there are people in this group that, first of all, would love to see what he has, and they'll be really excited about it. That by itself will make him want to come and show it. I don't know if I'm my computer's dying, I think. Oops.
Your video's out, but that's okay. We can hear you. But yeah, I think he will really.
But that's one thing, and then.
Group. Well, it looks like we've actually gone over the 2-hour limit that we had originally set. Does everybody want to still hang out?
I'm good too.
You got a few minutes, so it's laundry time. So.
I understand. Well, does anybody want to see anything back here from what I've been showing?
Hey, yeah.
Does anybody have any interest in what's going on back there?
Absolutely.
I assume that's one of YOLO's bows up there, is it?
That's correct. This is the famed Ultima crossbow. Basically, years and years ago, there was talk about releasing a crossbow made by YOLO himself. YOLO is a real person. YOLO from the video games is actually based on a real person by the name of David Watson. The guy really is an honest-to-goodness crossbow maker in real life. That's how he makes his money. He plays the lute, he sings songs, and he makes crossbows for a living. So
And saves Britannia.
there was talk about coming out with a commemorative crossbow for either the release of Ultima Online or Ultima 9. Well, it never got through EA Legal because you can't do a commemorative deadly weapon. They wouldn't take the responsibility for it. So it just got shelved. Well, my wife was wonderful enough to contact these people, and we talked to YOLO, and she, as a gift to me, basically said, do you think you could actually make the original crossbow that, you know, that you originally came up with? And he said, yeah, sure. How would your boyfriend like a one-of-a-kind? So he made this just for me. So YOLO from the Ultima games made this crossbow for me, for the Origin Museum. And what's even neat is that he is married to his wife by the name of Gweno. That's her real name. And she actually carved the silver serpent into the crossbow. Unfortunately, Gweno passed away about a decade ago. She had cancer, and she ended up dying. But what ended up being really cool is that after I started displaying this on the internet and showing people, everybody wanted one. So at first I was disappointed and went, I had a one-of-a-kind, and now everybody wants one, and YOLO's making a whole lot of these things. But after I kind of seasoned over it a bit, I thought, you know what? It's making him money, and he certainly needs the money. He's just a working guy like we are. And a lot of people end up having these now, but I'm the only one that has Gwenna who actually carved the silver serpent into the crossbow. So that's the story behind that. But it's about 40, I think it's about 40 to 45 foot-pounds. And if you actually hear it get shot, you'd be amazed at how, let me see if I can cock this bad boy. Nope. That's not good. I almost shot my bloody hand off. But it is, like I said, it's only a target bow. It's only about 40 foot-pounds. But if you listen, this has got a lot of kick to it. Ready? It's a bad mother. So
did you and your wife have a connection in gaming before you got married? Because me and my wife played a lot of MMOs together. You may have mentioned her a few times. Was she just interested in what you were doing, or?
Not at all. Not at all. She wasn't interested in gaming whatsoever before she met me, and she's still not interested in larger gaming. She plays a lot of the phone games and gets into the solitaire stuff and the knowledge stuff, the tickle your brain games, those kind of things. But she wasn't into it before we got involved in the museum. But she was the one that basically inspired all of this. So I mention her all the time because the Origin Museum is not just me; it's my wife as well. And she still likes hearing the stories and things, but she's not involved like I am anymore.
Yeah, my wife and I graduated from college, and she was still in. She was a couple of years younger than me, and we got EverQuest the day it came out, which was another one of those games that just blew my mind, and that's how we connected with each other while she was at school a lot. When I wasn't able to go over there, was through EverQuest, because we were able to kind of hang out together without hanging out together, you know. So
that's really cool. And I love how the relationship blooms because of gaming.
Yeah. We dated for like 10 years before we got married, so I guess it was about time we got married.
Would she be offended if you shared those cybersex stories with the rest of us, sir?
Probably.
Oh, good. I'm just kidding. I'm just... But, like I said, we collect anything and everything that has to do with Origin, all the way down to the costumes from the Crusader games to Richard Garriott used to have a haunted house back in the 90s that is kind of famous. We collected artifacts from that. I mean, I thought I'll focus on one certain area and then I won't spend a lot of money. Oh, it got out of control. But I don't spend any money anymore because I'm running out of room, but it's been an incredible ride, and I have a whole lot of fun collecting it. This is probably one of the coolest pieces. That is the original Akalabeth.
Yeah.
And originally there were 15 made. There were 12 sold. Mm-hmm. And this is what started Richard Garriott on the road. He made these by hand, one at a time, on his mother's kitchen table. And the manual is literally a bunch of papers that is stapled together. You know, and all of the discs were manually made in his house. But what makes this so cool, this particular copy anyway, is that this is from Origin's original archive. I bought this at the Ultima Online Fan Fest in 2001. So everybody, or in 2000, yeah, I think 2001. Everybody in the world was into Ultima Online at the time, but nobody knew what Ultima was. And they had this for auction, and I got it for, I think, like $450. And this is the only credit that I ever got in Computer Gaming World. They actually did an article on it, and they talk about it in Computer Gaming World. And they made a big deal of it, but nobody cared about it. Nobody knew. Richard gives these away like candy now. He had a box of them, a box of the original cover sheets and the manuals, and actually gives away these things to people who ask for them. Now that Shroud of the Avatar is in, if you bid $10,000, if you donate $10,000 to Shroud of the Avatar, he'll give you one. But there was a short time that he would give these away to people, anybody who would ask for them. Unfortunately, he didn't have any original discs, so he would put the label over top of another floppy disk label. And in the Calibeth community, in the group that we collect for, they're known as the double sticker versions. And I personally say they're not worth as much as the originals. This was not one of the original 12, but it could have been, because this was long before he got incredibly popular and the collecting community got popular. This was the copy that was in Origins archives. So I was able to grab a hold of this. So I know for a fact that this is a real Maxell disc. So this is the right disc sleeve and everything, because this is what was originally from his private collection that he probably put in the Origin archive in about 1984. So that's, is it worth more than another one? I don't know, but I do have proof of provenance that literally says this copy was made in 1979 on his mother's kitchen table, and it's signed by him. So that's a big deal for me.
Have you ever played the game, Joe?
Yes, I have. I have played the game. I have an Apple II over behind the painting over here, but unfortunately, the last time I played it, the disc has gotten corrupt.
Uh-oh.
Richard has told me that he has his original Apple II and that he has the original source code from it, and he will reinitialize the disc. But I guess I shouldn't make that public knowledge, but the disc doesn't work anymore. It's so sad. But for 35 years old, I think it had a good run, you know?
Not bad.
Are you going to let him do it?
Probably. I mean, I don't see anything wrong whatsoever in having it being put back in the original machine that originally made it, to have the original program put on it. I don't think that's breaking the rules, right?
I mean, I would agree, but I know some people would probably disagree. Like folks like Jim Leonard, probably, for example. Some of these guys are really like code purists and like, oh my God, it's not the original anymore. You breathed on it. That's it.
And as far as I'm concerned, the original doesn't exist anymore, not on that disc.
Right. No, I agree with you.
But every other copy that I know that exists is not original anymore. They were made in 2005, 2007, 2009. So,
thing about 5.25-inch disc, I mean, I bought tons of games that are still on 5.25-inch discs, but I mean, the vast majority of those discs don't work anymore, and I don't even have a 5.25-inch drive to test them on anymore anywhere in the house. I don't have a computer that even has they don't even put floppy controllers on motherboards anymore, so I couldn't get one if I wanted one. So the games are all sitting back here. I have no idea if they work. No clue. A lot of them you can download on the internet and burn on CD to put in the box, but the discs, I don't know if they work.
So I've been looking for a long time for a good solution for reading 5.25-inch floppies. I mean, there are a couple out there, but ideally what you'd want to have is like something they have for each 3.5-inch drives, which is like a USB connector that you just plug it in, it works. They never made that for a 5.25-inch drive. I guess there was no demand for it at the time, but there is something which I bought recently. There's a couple of things out there. None of them are perfect. But there's something I bought recently, which is basically a little circuit board that you plug a USB thing in one end, and you plug a floppy, like an IDE cable to the other end, and connect it to a floppy drive, and it will essentially have the floppy drive connect to your PC, and you can it's not like perfect like the 3.5-inch disc where it just shows up as a drive letter in Windows Explorer. You have to use a program to read the data off, but you can do it. So I bought one, and unfortunately I haven't tested it yet because my 5.25-inch drive is buried somewhere in the mess. I haven't found it, but after I move, I will try it.
Will the floppy, the software on it simulate the floppy disk controller? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's essentially a floppy controller, but you need Windows won't recognize it natively, so you need a separate program to do it. I still have actually, that I know where it is. I have an external floppy drive that I used on my previous laptop, which was my previous version of Windows, which connected through a parallel port to the laptop. Now there's two problems now. One is that the laptop I have doesn't have a parallel port anymore, so that's also gone the way of the dodo. And also the driver for it, because it's an old thing, is only a DOS driver. So like with, let's say, Windows XP even, you could have it boot up in DOS basically, and Windows XP runs on, actually, not Windows XP, 98 for sure, it runs on top of DOS. So you can boot up in DOS and load the driver and run Windows on top of it. But with Windows 7 64-bit, which is what I'm running now, there's no chance that thing would work anymore. So keep looking for different solutions.
What I need to do is just go to Goodwill and pick up a crappy old PC that's got a 5.25-inch drive in it, just to use it for reading discs, backing them up.
That's why you need one of these, right? I have the old machine that I ended up putting Windows 95 on. It still runs that information, and I end up pulling data off of old floppies to try to preserve that information. I have a lot of old floppy disks from old Origin people. I was recently pulling off data that was from the original Martian Dreams. It was the artwork from Martian Dreams that one of the developers actually gave me.
So you do a lot of archival work, so you need to have that. I mean, like, for me, I used to have a bunch of old machines, like 4 or 5 iterations. Like, I actually had a laptop. There's a game called Bureau 13. I don't know if anybody's ever played it. It's a CD adventure game. But I bought it, like, when it came out, and it never ran on any hardware I had except for this one laptop, an IBM little ThinkPad, that ran the game. No other computer I put in ever ran it. So I used to keep that laptop around just to run the stupid game. But eventually, like, I just like, okay, I gotta, figure out how I want to use my space, and I'd rather save the software and like screw the hardware, and I'll find some way to run it on the more modern hardware. So, I mean, a lot of people that collect vintage software have tons of vintage computers, but unfortunately, I just don't anymore. Just had to give it up. What do you got there, Joe?
A bunch of old floppies that I'm talking about. 5.25-inch disc that is listed with the word Annabelle on it. But basically, this is some of the original Martian Dreams information from Origin. And I'm pulling this stuff. I'm trying to pull this information off of here. And I've been incredibly lucky and fortunate that I've been able to recover a lot of the stuff. What cracks me up is that here is a disk from Origin Systems, and it has this information on it that came from Origin, and I think that's kind of unusual. That I wonder what they were doing during their normal work day.
That's
They
awesome.
were playing #1 Keen and #1 Duke while they were going through. Oh, that's from Origin as well.
What does it say?
3D Wolf.
Oh, 3D Wolf.
So I think Romero might be happy to know that in Texas they were enjoying his games as much as anybody else. This is apparently all the artwork from the Martian Dreams intro. And what's funny is that you have to use these special paint programs that were only available through EA that were incredibly hard to find. Luckily, I found them online, so it's really sad that I work very hard to not steal illegal software. But I have to get online to go get the utilities in order to pull this information off these floppies. So I find that very funny that these guys are forcing me to do the illegal things. I mean, like I said, I work at the Library of Congress. I live in the cradle of copyright. I don't like going on any of those, where sites for fear that my job may be at stake. So, but I think it's really cool that these people are nice enough to donate this stuff to the museum, and I'm having a wonderful time collecting it and archiving it, and I try to distribute as much as I possibly can. There are some things that I'm not allowed to distribute, but I still give out images, music files, original documentation. I scan as much as I can, and that all goes to a guy by the name of Ken Cully. Some people may know the Ultima Codex website. Anytime I do scans of old documentation, I just put them out for people to do, and it always makes me laugh that I get emails from people saying, "Hey, look at this! I found the original documentation of Ultima 8: The Lost Veil. What do you think of this?" And I say, "What do I think? I think I should have watermarked it before I put it out on the internet." Because people end up coming back to me and bringing it in. Oh, one more. This is an Origin CD-ROM. With the word Heine on it. This is the
Origin Porn.
Say again?
Origin Porn.
This is the code name for a game that was called Ultima Online 2. So I have the source disk for UO2, but the sad part is that I can't share it with anyone. I will lose my relationship with Electronic Arts. They'll never talk to me again. All the old Origin people will get upset. So this has to sit here. And the sad part is that it is written in a programming language that I don't know. So I can't pull this stuff apart. I would love...
What language?
I'm trying to think of what that language is, and it's killing me. It's a visual language.
G++, C++, Delphi, Visual Basic.
No, it's a visual language that got real popular around 1999. What?
FoxPro?
No. I'll have to remember. It'll come to me. But the sad part is that the instructions on here are on there. I mean, there are text files that say, here's how to set up the server, and here's how to set up the client. So I could literally be running UO2 right now, a horrible alpha version, of course, but I can't do it, specifically because I don't have the programming skill, and I can't give it to anybody who does have the programming skill. So it breaks my heart constantly that this stuff sits here, and every 2 or 3 years I back it up and put it somewhere on a hard drive. But it's killing me that this stuff is going to go the way of the dodo, and I can't show it to anybody.
So what are you getting your degree?
Say again?
What are you getting your degree in programming?
I'm not smart like you guys are. I don't have a programmer mind. I wish I did.
So I'm probably going to have to wind down pretty soon, but I think a few people joined.
We have someone named Wing? Wing, are you there?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Welcome to the group. It's wonderful to see you.
You too.
Can you tell us about your passions? How you got into this collecting hobby? You seem a lot younger than most of us sitting here.
He's typing something. Wingding. You work for Microsoft, Wingding? Why don't you put your mic on and you can talk? You don't have a mic? You're right. I think it was working before. Someone's gonna come and kill you? He's like hiding out from the law. Okay.
My phone just started beeping at me, and I noticed that I'm in something in my phone. I didn't realize it was.
Very, very cool, Ring Ding.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that chat is up and running over there in my Gmail window. So there's like two chats. There's one chat here inside the chat. I think one of them is for people actually in the room, and the other one is for people that are on the outside.
Oh, it's killing me that I'm not professional enough to be able to handle this.
I think one's a Google Hangout, and the other one is just the Google Plus.
Ugh. And I'm missing the Google Plus chats.
There's not much going on yet.
I think there's just been a few test messages.
Somebody's sending pictures of their collection now on it. Pit Fighter.
Yeah, that's Matt.
That's Matt.
Excellent. Wonderful, Matt. This is great.
Well, I see he's not in the video portion, but he's on the phone part.
He told me that he's trying to connect from his in-laws' house, wherever they are, and their internet must suck or something, so he can't get into the chat room, into the video.
Shame.
Yeah, but we can't see the Bat Cave anyway, so.
Well, we also have Roy, who just came on. Roy, are you with us? I know he's online, but I don't know if he has video or not.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm working on a video. It's not working.
Well, it's wonderful. I'm glad you joined the group. This is
yeah,
great.
I'm in here for half an hour already.
Oh, wonderful. I'm sorry. I got talking.
Yeah, I just listened. No, I tried to do my webcam through my mobile phone.
Ah, I see.
Wi-Fi, and it's not. Yeah, I got image, but not in the Google.
So do you have a specialty, Roy? What do you collect?
Big box, obviously. More newer games. I'm not that old either. I guess I'm 28. So I collect more the newer big boxes. So the Ultimas are pretty unknown to me, I must say.
No, this is incredibly cool. See, I love hearing about the more modern stuff now. Like I was saying before, I missed a lot of that time.
Yeah, and I got the opposite. I learned a lot about the really old stuff. You know, the floppy disks and so on.
So what is the piece that you worked hardest to collect?
I don't really search. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff through thrift shops and flea markets, and I'm almost never pay more than €5 for a game.
So what is the one that is your favorite? What's the one that you like more than all the others?
I got one. I don't know if you know Oni. I don't think so, but it's a pretty. It's a game from also on the PS2.
I know Oni. It's Bungie, right?
Yeah. And I never knew there was a big box from, but a friend of mine found it for €1, and that's I guess my favorite piece in my collection. Just because of the artwork, and I like the game, obviously. So, but it's not my most rarest game or whatsoever. But I just like that box.
Yeah, it's like a black and whitish box, right?
That's
yeah,
like
I got that foil on it. You know that how you say that? The foiled. Is
metallic.
It right?
Foiled.
Yeah, metallic kind of
foil,
look on it, and it's an. You can flip them open. You know, like a book, the front cover.
We decided that's called a gatefold cover.
Okay, I accept that gatefold. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, yeah. So it's pretty, awesome box. I like it.
Very cool.
Yeah, I got some other cool stuff, but I'm first trying to get my camera working, one way or another.
Well, this is incredibly cool. I'm very happy that this turned out to be something bigger than the sum of us. I thought it would be me and Stuart just hanging out and going, so you think anybody will join?
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful that everybody's getting involved.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I mean, we're also like hungry for someone to talk about this stuff with. You know, that's part of why I think it's going to take off, and I hope it happens again. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be more than happy to set one up in another 2 weeks, or maybe even next Sunday. I don't know. Is the time okay for everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm from Holland. It's now 9 p.m.
9:30 in Germany. Yeah, same as
Oh,
Holland.
that sounds great.
Yeah, 9:30 also here. Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, 9:30.
Wonderful. Roy, you're from Germany?
No, I'm from Holland.
Oh, from Holland.
The small country next to Germany.
New Germany, right?
No.
Never mind.
That's not a discussion.
I did not offend. I'm just fooling around. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just from what I've experienced in the group so far, when I was growing up, console gaming, Nintendo and all that stuff was like the thing, and I was like a fringe kind of guy with the PC stuff. And it seems like, and some of our European friends can maybe confirm or deny this, that it seems like PC gaming may have been bigger in Europe than it was over here, because it certainly seems like there's more collecting going on over there than there is in the States.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, there isn't. Is there a lot of collecting here in Europe, you think? For PC games?
I'd say, I just looking at the map. I mean, there's well over half of our group is in Europe, pretty much.
Well, one thing I've noticed is that the Europeans are less willing to move towards digital downloads. Like a lot of the titles in the U.S. now are like they're not selling them in the store, or there's like a couple of copies, and they just don't make them retail. But in Europe, it's not like that. Everything is still retail. They went away from the big boxes before we did here. They were going to the DVD cases like many years ago already, but they still have them, and we don't really here. So there's something going on for sure. And Germany, I think, is the biggest center of some of these things. Well, what I was going to say before was, when I was growing up, originally it was like the serious people had computers, and like the consoles, which was like the Atari 2600, were for kids. Like you played Atari 2600 too, but it was a kid machine that played like some cheapo graphics and whatnot. And the sort of the serious man's game machine was probably one of the actual computers. And then over time, that sort of synced up, and then the consoles took over, probably for a few different reasons. But like I had an NES and I had a Sega Master System, and I liked that stuff, and I also played games on my PC. At some point, the more serious stuff I felt were staying on the PC. I was stayed with that, but a lot of the kids and the younger generation, they stayed with the consoles, and I guess the rest is history. Don't know why necessarily, but
we were kind of so poor when we were growing up that my dad always had computers around because that's what he did for his work. But we never had the money to get the Nintendos and stuff, so that's pretty much why I was a computer gamer back then, and it's I guess I stuck with what I knew, so I ended up being an adult who I still don't have a PS4 or an Xbox One because I get all my stuff on PC still.
Yeah, same here, but my dad got me a Sega Master System as a present, but he never bought me any games. But there was a guy down the block who had every single game in the library, so I used to just borrow the games from him. And I didn't have an NES at that time. When all the people who had NESs were buying Genesises, somebody sold me an NES for $20 with like 20 games. when I was in like school, and I scrounged out the money and had the $20 and whatever. But yeah.
So, Bastian, Wingding, Roy, our European friends, do you find that there is more of a following of PC than there is of arcade or console?
Not in my ID. No. There's if I go to a retro gaming convention or something, it's all Nintendo, Sega, hey, you name it, and maybe one or two with big boxes. So it's not as big as in my point of view.
Yeah, I think in the UK, PC gaming, I think it's only just starting picking up again. It's mostly been consoles for quite a long time.
In my country, there is bigger PC. There are not so lot consoles, but that's more to do with piracy. We have a lot of piracy here in my country.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like overall we are on the cutting edge, gentlemen.
Yeah.
We are the people that are the forerunners of preserving this stuff and holding on to it. The software is going to survive. We all know that. Bastian has made it clear that the software is going to survive. People are copying it, people are backing it up, people are distributing it. And that's very, very good. But it's the box, and it's the extra things inside, the items that brought you closer into the storyline. Some people say feelies, some people say tchotchkes, the little extra things that basically bring you into that world. Those are the things that are going to disappear. And it's up to us to preserve these kind of things and hold on to them. And they'll end up being, they'll be the relics of, future generations because we're holding on to them now.
Yeah, my wife was, Pascal mentioned Leather Goddesses of Phobos before, and I was just actually showing that to my wife yesterday, and I think I have to switch rooms now. Hold on. Someone else talk. I'll give me a second.
Sure thing. This is that history. And it looks like Bastian has a new piece of history that he is bringing up right now.
Yes.
So is that your latest big box, Bastian?
Yeah, it's a big box.
Wonderful. Oh, beautiful.
So what I was trying to say, I apologize, was so she was asking me what is this, and I was showing her the Infocom games, like those gray boxes and all this stuff in it and whatnot. Like, why do you need that? You can just get the game on the internet. I'm like, yeah, but this game came with a map, and it came with a comic book that had some clues in it, and it came with scratch and sniff cards. They tell you like scratch spot number 3, and you'd have to scratch it. So she said to me, well, that can't possibly still smell today. I'm like, oh yeah, let's find out. So we scratched one of them, and like, oh man, that's rancid. What is that? But it still smelled, and that's really the truth. That's why I started collecting this stuff, was because of that. Like you just said, Joe, like the pieces that came with the game, like, are almost more important than the game. Not more important than the game, but they're more important than the disc, because you can get the disc elsewhere. And even like if it's like some of these games with a 100-page manual with like a long story that's supposed to get you in the mood of the game. When I used to buy this stuff when I was a kid, or when I used to get it, acquire it, I used to first sit down and read that whole freaking thing before I turned the game on. Like nowadays, I don't think people have the patience for that, but that's what I used to do. That's what made me enjoy it. So nowadays, like, it's almost like going through the motions. Cause now it's like more like OCD, and like I get this box and it has like a 2-page manual, and that's it. But that's really why I started, was because of all the feelies and stuff.
That is absolutely true. Pascal is about to show us something, a perfect example of this.
Totally agree to that point. I mean, what I really like about all the Sierra boxes back then is that they are so content-rich. Like we mentioned maps and stuff, but if I go to games like The Dagger of Amon-Ra, Laura Bow 2, this game was playing in a museum where you have to solve some murder cases and stuff. And so, content-wise, they came with a how many pages has it? Like It has nearly like 60 pages guide to the museum, that guides you through the museum in game. So like what kind of items you find in the museum, about something about Egypt history and stuff. You've got a small museum map and stuff like that. And that is what I think is so content rich and gives you a bit more understanding about the game world. It brings you into the game without having playing it. You can look at it at the beginning to get an overview. You can look at it later on, or besides all this copy protection stuff and so. But that is what I really do like and appreciate a lot. And especially Sierra made so many content, all the Larry funny stuff, with airplane guides and humor, all this advertisement, newspapers with so many ridiculous things to buy and stuff. That is so funny. And I really like to have that more and then pay more bucks for that, but you don't find that nowadays so often. So
and the Space Quest 3 glasses, which like everybody who bought that game took the glasses apart and made the glasses and wore the glasses while they played the game. And that's why it's hard to find one that's like not punched out, because everybody used it. Right. You know, so they're awesome.
And I find it ironic now that I play these games. For example, I don't know, Skyrim. And there are many, many books in the game that you read and you learn things about the history and the culture. And it just is not the same.
What?
I won't read everything in those books that you find in Skyrim because it's not a physical book that came with the box. It's not learning about the Skyrim history and the world. That I can play these games when I am not in front of my computer. I can sit in my living room on my sofa and read these things. I can lay in bed and read the extra manuals. I can't tell you how many old manuals are sitting on my nightstand right now, just because I'm going through and reading them still to this day. I have Wing Commander and Wing Commander 2 guide upstairs on my bedroom table right now that I sit and read when I'm not there, and I've read it 100 times and the pages are almost ready to fall out, but I still enjoy that because I can play the games when I'm not playing the games. And I think a lot of companies miss this information. You know, there are very few companies that still follow that. And you can follow the lore in the books, the things that end up bringing you closer to that history.
So this is a copy of the gray box release of Deadline from Infocom. Just an example, I mean, so like, I'll show this to my daughter yesterday also. So you're supposed to solve a mystery if somebody got murdered. So it comes with, this is supposed to be like the case folder, and the original release actually came with a case folder. This is the second release. And in here is interviews with, all, you know, the detective interviewed the characters and got some initial information of like what they said and what their alibi is and whatnot. And then after you read all these pages and pages of stuff, there's, you know, this basically you open up the box and you have the disc and you have the reference card. But you also have the coroner's report showing you, like, here's the body and, you know, here's what they found and whatnot. And you have the letter that the lawyer sent you, the police detective saying, you know, please get involved in this case. I know you probably can't see it, but, like, it's on nice quality paper. They didn't, like, cheap out. You have a photo, like, supposedly a photo, which is a picture of the body that they took, you know, that the medical examiner took or whatever. And then it comes with a physical thing. These are tablets found near the body. So, and of course, this is probably candy that, like, it was white at one point, now it's like brownish white. And my daughter was asking me, could she eat this yesterday? And I said, it's like 30 years old candy. And she's like, so what? You know, but I was like, well, it looks like it's cookies and cream flavor. I said, I don't think that's cookies and cream flavor. I think it's like probably mold flavor or who knows what. But the point is, like, this is like something like you really got into the game. Like, here's the actual freaking pills that they found next to the dead guy's body, and you know you have it in your hand. So I wish they did more of this stuff nowadays. Just, I mean, Infocom had to do it because they didn't have pictures. That was how they drew you into the scene. And some of like Sierra and other companies continue the tradition for a while, but Nowadays if there's a collector's item, it's like here's a little icon. Here's that the statue of the of whoever it is from Morrowind. But that's like something which doesn't take you into the game. That's like something for you to have as the guy outside the game. It's not something that the person inside the game would have. This is something that the person inside the game would have that makes you feel like you're stepping more into that person's role.
That's
what I wish they had more of.
Right.
You should look into the Inquisitor's Edition. I know we've talked about that a little bit with the Dragon Age.
Water.
It's an amazing collector's edition, and it's a modern version of what you're describing. It's got all this neat little stuff, trinkets, and I would pull it down, but it's huge and it's
You should probably find
everywhere. But
I would love to see it if you'd willing to pull it down.
let me see if I can get it down here.
Yeah, there are very few games out there now that still pull this off. Just as Stuart was saying, you get a figure, you get a making of book, you get a book of photographs of original artwork, but it's not really the same as drawing you into that storyline, and there are very few games that do that today. Back in the day, they had to. What I'm saying now is that they have the opportunity to do this because they want to, and I don't think that modern publishers appreciate the power of this.
Joel's getting down the game.
Yeah. I had it. It's just hard. It's got this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got this plastic thing around it, and it like schlucks onto the box and makes it really hard to get out. And the DVD just kind of sits on the top there. But
hold
I've
it
seen the
still
pictures
so
of-
we can see it, sir.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures of it. I don't really understand what it is. It's hard to tell what it's supposed to be designed as.
see if I can get this off of here without wrecking it too bad.
Now, see, Stuart, you made him go to all this work. You better appreciate it.
He's enjoying this more than I am.
I mean, that's what I've got it for, right? It's to show it off.
Well, it's not sealed anymore.
No, it was. I had to open it. But it's got all this cool, like, it's all these knickknacks and
Wow.
got like a ink pen, quill, and a. It's hard to get it.
That's absolutely beautiful.
What is it? You gotta talk loud, otherwise the microphone, like the picture, goes away from you while you're showing it.
There's another layer underneath. It's like a hidden layer. It's got the map and a leather thing. And how do I get this? Like an ink glass thing. I don't know what this stuff is, but.
Now, have you played the game?
The game is excellent. Yeah, got the leather.
Are these items integrated into the game?
They're part of the game. It's the Inquisitor's box thing that the Inquisitors use, but you don't need it to actually play the game, which I know that's what you're getting at.
That doesn't matter. It's fine if you don't need it, as long as it makes it more of an experience, which it looks like it does for sure.
Are each of these objects important to the game?
Thing with a little stopper. I mean, this is all just cheap little stuff, but it's pretty cool.
That's the inkwell, I imagine.
Right, and it's got there's a whole bag of I guess these are like tarot cards or something. I don't know what these. Like, it's sort of like what you get with the Ultima, but.
Wow.
Yeah, big pile of them.
So the thing that's really frustrating about this is that was a GameStop exclusive pre-order, and I heard about it, and the next day I tried to order it actually, and it was not available anymore.
Oh, now I want.
They make these in such limited quantities, and you have to know about it like the day that they're released, and if not, then you don't get it. And the problem is, like, it's not people like Joel. I'm glad that Joel got a copy. That's awesome. But then there's a lot of people on, like, there's scalpers that buy them, and they resell them for twice the price on eBay. just
That's
like
true.
any other thing, like where there's limited tickets or whatnot to an event. But I don't understand why the companies, if they see that there's demand and it sells out on day one, why don't they print like a whole bunch more?
Well, I can tell you just from looking at this, probably cost of production. In my line of work, we have to develop this sort of stuff. Well, not these exact things, but it costs a ton of money to make all this stuff. So they probably have a limited print run for that reason.
Like it's very difficult to make more once they make their initial run.
So, Joel, this spring you're going to need your lawn mowed a lot, right?
The sad part is with these modern collector's editions, once you buy them, open them, and bust the code, because there's just a code in there that doesn't really, the discs kind of don't matter anymore. Like the value, if you want to worry about value, is just like cut in half, easy, because the game, you can't actually play the game if you sell it. But
such a freaking ripoff.
So you heard, it's 50% off, everybody. 50% off.
Well, there must be a way to like crack it or something, and like use it without the code.
I don't know. It's tied to that Origin service from Electronic Arts, so they've got it pretty well locked down. You can't play it without being on that on their service.
All right, let me go to Game Copy World and see if they have it. But yeah, I can't stand these. What they do nowadays. It's like first it was just you have to activate it, but Diablo 3 was like, I remember when that came out, that was like a big thing that basically it would not run unless you had this original key and that's it, one time and you're done. And I was like, okay, I'm not buying that game. Like, no matter how much I want to play it, I'm not buying it. I mean, I didn't really want to play it that badly because, I mean, I'm not so into like procedurally generated stuff, but you know, I just can't stand it.
Blizzard is good on collector's editions. They don't have cool stuff like that, but their collector's editions are some of the best. I have every one of them. I have every collector's edition that Blizzard ever put out, pretty much. They have good little add-ons like DVDs with all their videos, and their cutscenes are pretty much the best in the industry. So comic books and stuff like that, not things like what we're talking about that are part of the game or anything, but just good stuff.
So what is there? There's like the 5 World of Warcraft. There's like, I know there's a Warcraft 3 Collector's Edition. There's a StarCraft 2. Is there anything else?
We got StarCraft 2, both Heart of the Swarm and the human one. We got Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos. 6 World of Warcraft expansions.
6.
Diablo 2 Collector's Edition. Diablo 3 and the Diablo 3 expansion pack collector's editions, which I think is all of them.
Nice.
You are one of us. This is you're as bad as I am.
That's part of why I'm into collector's editions is because so much, just because it's the best way in a modern sense to get the same thing that we used to get when we were younger, you know, with like what we're talking about with the Infocom stuff. It's really the only option we have to get anything feely oriented.
So I've come around because I actually did a talk for the New York chapter of the IGDA. Like, I don't remember how long ago this was already. Probably like close to 10 years ago at this point.
Wow.
They did a Picha Kucha, which is, I don't know if you guys heard of that, but it's like something that someone made up. Maybe it was more recent than 10 years ago, but the idea is you do like, I can't remember the number, like let's say 15 slides in a PowerPoint deck, and you have exactly like 2 minutes or to talk about each one, and the slides advance automatically. So like if you're not like on your game and you don't know what the hell's going on, then you look like a jackass, and if you do a good job, then you look cool, I guess. And they had a bunch of people all talking about different game topics, and I offered to do something about game collecting. So they're like, "Oh wow, game collecting, that's so freaking cool! Like we just make games, you collect games." So that was interesting in of itself. And I talked about how it used to be we had all these great, you know, things like this Deadline box, and now I remember I mentioned like the Halo 3, whatever the edition was called, where they had the Master Chief head, which isn't even the full size like helmet that you can put on. And I was like, who the hell wants that? Like, this is like terrible. Like, you got these little tchotchkes that you can't do anything with, and I was like, okay, like, I guess some kid wants that, but I don't want it. But I've come around because I mean, like, I do want them now. Actually, I mean, because I guess like you said, Joel, there's nothing else. I mean, like, there's like a handful of older games that I still want that I don't have, and you know that maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. And then there's the newer stuff, like it's that or bust, basically.
Yeah, it's the only modern option that we have, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've gone over our time by a good hour. I think I'm going to cut it here, folks, and we'll continue at a future date if that's all right with everybody.
Yeah. This particular one was a good meet and greet. My wife was saying that for future ones, it may be a good idea to post a topic of discussion, because I think a lot of us got a lot of things out of our system on this one. So, as far as showing things and all that kind of stuff, so having a topic to discuss next time might be a good idea, just to keep the ball rolling, so to speak.
Absolutely noted.
Maybe a couple of topics that we exhaust audio on the next one.
I did want to keep this one kind of free form as just an introductory one, but your wife definitely got credit for saying this is completely disjointed and needs to be organized. So.
Well, this was just good, and a good icebreaker, because I'm a little social. I have a little bit of social anxiety, so it was just nice to break out of the mold a little bit and get to know people face to face, even though it's over the internet.
All right. So in honor of Joel, for the next meeting, we'll have naked time. All right. All inhibitions will be off.
I'm already naked, but my cam doesn't work, so you can't see.
When I turned off my camera just there for like 5 minutes, there was a reason for that. It wasn't me, but there was nakedness occurring. Anyway.
No, gentlemen, this has worked out really, really well. I think it's going to be really cool. I don't know if I will actually post this on YouTube for future reference, but we'll have it organized for next time.
I think it's a good idea to post it on YouTube. I was thinking about that before, if we should bother recording it.
Say again, sir?
I think it's a good idea to put it on YouTube if you want to do that. I was wondering if it would be, if recording these is useful, but have you been recording it?
Yes, I have been recording it. We're actually live, and then I can click one button and it'll post to my personal YouTube page or whatever.
Excellent.
People to reference in the future.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I didn't think there was any good stuff on here. I thought... See, and what makes it great is that we can all show our same stuff over again at a future date, which is great.
Yeah, but shouldn't we do it the next time when we got a subject? We say for YouTube. We start all with a subject, and that's easier for other people who are watching on YouTube, that they know what the subject is.
Correct. Yeah, I literally slapped this together at the last minute, but
yeah,
I think I'll be much more organized now that I know that we have a group of people that wants to come in and talk about these things. This is great.
Yeah, and also everyone can get their setup right and get it all to work.
What I would suggest is, if you're planning on posting it, like, just take a watch through first and make sure there's nothing someone said that they might regret if it got more wide, viewing.
Yeah, like me being naked.
I don't mean that. I mean, like, how some developer said something or other, and you may watch it at some point, and
I think I was one of the few people that talked out of turn, and that's all.
So I mean, there's probably a way to like edit out like 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there. Probably is a good idea if it's. I mean, if there's anything like that.
But I don't think we'll have that much of a problem. Well, in any case, I think we ought to bring this to a close. I want to just say thanks to everybody very, very much for coming here and hanging out, and I hope we can do this a lot more frequently. I'll plan the next one for 2 weeks unless anybody wants to do it sooner.
Sounds good to me. Stuart, I'll keep your Dragon Age safe for you, buddy. And
what did you say, Joel? I missed it.
I said I'll keep this Dragon Age safe for you.
Oh.
Just know that it's in good hands.
And you know he has 2
I do
acres
appreciate
of
that.
yard that you have to cut now, right?
You should put a hedge around it so I don't come over. No, I'm just kidding. I do appreciate the fact that it's in good hands. To be honest with you.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
not getting sold for outrageous prices on eBay.
Yeah, exactly. One day I'll have my own, but until then, I'm glad one of us does.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. I appreciate your time, and I'm going to stop the broadcast now. But hopefully, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See you on Facebook.
Thanks.